Mate, who is bang on time? Who is bang on time? It's me, of course. How's it going, folks? It's been a busy week and haven't had much time to stream. What do you mean, not me? I was exactly on time. Wait, Reforge was on time? Nah, I put the thing to 8 o'clock. Everyone saw it said 8 o'clock. Hey, look. Somewhere around this world, I am on time. I mean, I didn't say 7:45 p.m. UK time. Did I? I mean, it may be 8:10. And I probably... I'm not late. I never admit I'm late. What I will say is it's bloody hot. Just admit, no. No. We don't admit that sort of thing, right? We don't fabricate news like the ponies. We only deal in facts, not the ones that suit our agenda, but the real facts. That's exactly what I said, Ghosty. Somewhere around the world, I'm on time. How's everyone been, folks? Oh, Bags is #1? Oh, shit. It is very warm. Very, very, very warm. But yeah, so outside of all the cool Game Pass games that dropped that we're going to be checking out, the AMD info that dropped, and a bit of amusing stuff, you know, it's been quite interesting. Plus, apparently I heard DCG actually had an interesting video. I don't believe it personally, but, you know, Steve said that his video was really interesting and good, and I just failed to believe it. So, I'm not sure. Then again, I don't know what video he was talking about, so there's also that. Hey. Brothers to the end, huh? Which video was you talking about? I don't know why J-Dub says that when he's got a PC and he plays on PC. J-Dub plays on PC. I mean, you can't get more hypocritical than that, right? My dude plays on PC. He's got a decent PC too. The one where he holds the controller up in every video. What are you talking about? I've been really bad with Discord lately, honestly. Work has absolutely been kicking my ass left, right, and center. My real 9 to 5. So, mate, you guys take the piss with Devin's. Mate, well hung. Who comes up with these names for Devin? Like, seriously. You guys, it's just me. The next gen video? He doesn't have a next gen video. I guess he took it down. He has a fire break. Ah, I found it. I found it. Alright, we will check that out later. But first I wanted to talk, I want to start with this, clip from Sarah. What do you guys think about it? It came out of nowhere, right? This one was one of those things that just kind of just landed without anything. Anyone feel like it was a knee-jerk reaction to some of the stuff that Sony said a few days before? Let me just fix this. Come on, fix. So Sony turned around and said that Microsoft is basically a third-party publisher now, and they're out of the hardware business. And then, like a day later, disappeared. It almost feels like this was a little rushed to come out. I appreciate it coming out, considering we had nothing from Xbox in days. So some news was better than no news, and at least it's cool to see where they're going. And, we're going to talk about that today, because I think this is a really, really big topic that should be spoken about, because there's some definitely really good points here, and some stuff that leaves stuff to, raise question marks that don't really make sense. Woodpit, your next door neighbor works for AMD. Is this like the same thing where your uncle works for Microsoft and your cousin works for Nintendo? Is it that sort of neighbor? The Warner Brothers stuff? I've only seen a little bit about that, so we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, let's get to that in a bit. Hey, Devin, thank you so much for the... Full of lies, huh? Thank you very much for that 12 months, dude. A whole year. Also, I noticed you left a super chat earlier today. Steve is a pony from Ponyland with a ponytail. Thank you so much for that super chat. Don't think I didn't see. But yeah, I appreciate that, dude. Steve, good pony. My next door neighbor said the PS5 can deflect hammer attacks. I've not tested it yet. Just contact 4, dude. 4 will get you. But I think this is actually really interesting. They finally come out and told you what the next gen Xbox is going to be. It's going to be a machine run by Windows. And a lot of people didn't take to that too kindly. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Chili. And here's the thing, right? Do you remember how, hey, Paris, how's it going? Do you remember how people were saying that if PC gamers won't be able to play GTA 6? maybe they will. Maybe through the Xbox PC, they will. That line starts to become very, very thin on where it goes now, doesn't it? You know, good. Power Boss. Yeah, I've actually had. I think I skipped Tuesday stream and Wednesday stream, mainly because I've just been overrun at work, and I've been working really, really late. The heat doesn't help, but I got my trusty fan here, so that definitely is helping me survive the heat. But yeah, I've just been really just kind of just piled on at work, so I needed to focus on that stuff working late. But yeah, it's interesting because the one thing that, I mean, me and Steve were talking about this last night. Play Anywhere. If this actually goes the way it's supposed to go, Play Anywhere starts to become a moot point, right? Considering the Xbox Ally X can play Steam games, your PC can play Steam games. I guess through GeForce Now you can play over the cloud as well if it's supported. But you can technically play it on whatever PC platform there is. Just pick up and play, whether it's on your ROG, on your Lenovo, or laptop, PC, it will just run. So what does that mean for Play Anywhere? What will it mean for Play Anywhere? Hey, thank you for the 199 Ghosty. Devin is... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait. Hold on a second. Devin showed you what now? Just wait a minute. I don't think you realize what you wrote. I don't think you realize what you wrote while you wrote it and then hit, or maybe as you hit send. Oh, you have no idea how much I needed this today. You have no idea how much I needed to laugh today after the day I've had. I love you guys, man. He's just trying to double down on it now because he knows that hole he's dug is as deep as it goes, right? Ghosty? But yeah, what does this mean for Play Anywhere? I mean, Warner Brothers haven't done anything decent in a long time. But we'll come to Warner Brothers soon. But God, chat. Ghosty and Devin, just get a room, man. I'll make a private section for you guys on Discord. No, right now it means nothing, but if you can do everything Play Anywhere is offering by default anyway, I'm just thinking, like, let's just assume that the next generation Xbox has come out. It's, you know, it's doing everything you want. It's a beast. It has, you know, what is it? Steam on there. And from what we're hearing, apparently, I'm just going to drag this here because I think it's worth mentioning. But according to Xtas1S, how I really don't know. Ecstasis? Is that how you pronounce his name? Ecstasis? I don't know. One of you tell me which one of those was closest enough. But apparently Xenia Canary, which is a emulator on PC right now that plays original Xbox and 360 games, apparently Microsoft is in talks with those that created that, which, you know, it runs really well on current gen PCs. Apparently they're in talks to get that working on the next Xbox. So if they're going down that route and they're gonna go through the emulation of the 360 games and the OG games, which Steve, this is exactly what I was saying yesterday. And so it looks like potential. I mean, this is just rumors, of course. There's nothing set in stone. Could the Play Anywhere thing that they're pushing so hard just rock? Will there be any need for it? And then what would be the unique selling point of their store? I mean, obviously for us as consumers, it doesn't matter at all. We just buy games and play games, and that's the end of that. But I'm just looking at it, just going that one step further and seeing like what's the end game here. Everything we've seen so far from, you know, Sarah's announcement in this video here was phenomenal. I mean, I'm on board. I like you know, everything she said is good. I mean, look, let's just listen to the video real quick, right? Let's just listen to the video. Because I think it's a good video. It's short, sweet, and concise, right?
At Xbox, our vision is for you to play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want. That's why we're investing in our next generation hardware lineup across console, handheld, PC, cloud, and accessories. I am thrilled to share we've established a strategic multi-year partnership with AMD to co-engineer silicon across a portfolio of devices, including our next generation Xbox consoles.
Did you hear what she said there? Did you hear what she said? Listen carefully to what she said.
Our next generation Xbox consoles.
Did you catch it? Did anyone catch it? Consoles with a plural. Now there's a couple of ways you can actually look at this. So it's not just next generation console, it's next generation consoles. And that wasn't a mistake, that was intentional. Now how that will play out is anyone's guess. Does this mean there's, you know, after the next one they're gonna continue releasing consoles? Or are they gonna, or is this like their play at saying, hey, this is an entry model Xbox? This is a mid, like, you know, at say $499.99. This is a mid-tier Xbox at, you know, $699.99, and this is the McDaddy Xbox at $999.99. You see what I mean? Like, it's interesting, and I think it's going to be the latter. They're going to offer different entry points. The Series S and the Series X, to me, for them, was a big test and a big experiment to see how a two-tier system would work. I think that proved to them that it works and it was successful, especially with the adoption of the Series S. A lot of people loved that, and they saw that people going in at the low end, at the low end price point, just really are happy with what they're playing. Not everyone is looking for that 60 FPS like, you know, X or whatever social media you're looking at would make you believe. The majority of people don't care. They just play. And I use the Destiny example as an, you know, as a perfect example, where they released Destiny 2 for the PS5, and 75% of the people playing on the PS5 were still playing 30 FPS and didn't care, or didn't, you know, see the difference. And Bungie was urging them to upgrade to the 60 FPS version. So they've clearly seen that it works. That isn't what she is saying. So what is she saying, Paris? I'm going through two ways. She said consoles. So it could either be a multi-tier console platform, or there's going to be future generations of consoles. What else could she have meant? I think in the immediate, it means another But that just goes. That's just confirming what I'm saying, though, right, Power Boss? They're going to go through a different tier. They're going to go through a multi-tier system for the console. You're going to have like the S version, which is entry level, and then you're going to have the X version, which is the intermediary. And I guess you can go build a PC for the McDaddy version. At the end of the day, the OS that's going to be on there, and whether this emulation is true, it's going to run on Windows. It's going to be the game mode for Windows. I see Paris knows what they're saying, but he's just staying quiet. Paris has the deets. Let's continue listening, but I feel like, I don't know, that consoles is really cool. So at least you know that there is, more. Hardware will be first party. I think so too. Even if they do OEM versions of those consoles, they will have their own version of those consoles as well. Alright, you're always welcome to join, dude. Let me get my Discord up. Same method as last time, dude. You know where the links are at the description. Ooh, Dead by Daylight has a reward. I wonder what it is. Spring Trap profile banner. Okay. Not as exciting. Oh wait, you can actually jump into here. You don't need to go in Discord. One sec. What am I doing? Give me a sec, Paris. Believe me, my brain isn't focused in fully today. There we go. Paris. There you go, buddy. Right there for you. Hello.
Hey, you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm used to hearing the music. I didn't hear any music. I was like, dead quiet.
Yeah.
No, I won't take up too much of the time. And I will just say that I think you're close to what they're trying to do. But, and this is my interpretation. I'm not saying I got some inside info. But my interpretation of that is the handheld and partner devices. I don't think they're making an S version next gen. I think that has caused them more harm than good, this current gen. So I don't see them trying to do that. Now, obviously, partners will probably have different performance levels on that, but I think they just provide one box, your master console. And to your point, it runs Windows.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, I think we're pretty aligned in what they're doing.
I think with the Series S, it's caused them a bit of problems, right? That's no denying. But I think if they actually learn from it and don't gimp on the RAM and the system memory, it could work. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. But I think their biggest flaw with the Series S was just not giving it enough system memory. I mean, if you remember back in the Xbox One days when you had the Kinect and they couldn't up the resolution because of Kinect, allocating so much memory. They just said, right, you can remove it entirely, the allocation for the Kinect, and use all that resource, and then you were back up from 900p to 1080p. So I think it's a similar thing, as long as they don't gimp themselves, and I think they, you know, that was their only mistake with the Series S. Otherwise, that machine's really good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. Someone said I was loud. I hope I'm not being too loud.
I've reduced it. I had you at full blast.
Okay.
They got the full Paris.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, because I remember back in 2020 when I interviewed Jason Ronald about the Series X and the S, and essentially the CPU in it is the exact same. The sock in it is the exact same, other than they've downclocked the GPU, and to your point, it's less RAM. And it was the less RAM that has caused all these issues, because the idea behind the Series S was this is a 1080p 1440p device that plays the same exact games, has all the same services and functions as the X, which is playing these games at 4K. Part of my reasoning for thinking they're not going to do the S this time, even though, like you said, I'm sure they got plenty of lessons learned over the past 5 years, is the handheld is essentially your S, whether they make one or not, because that is going to be the lower performance machine versus the one they make. Not to mention, I think we both agree, these consoles are not going to be cheap anymore. So it's really, even the S, is it really going to be that much of a low cost option, to get people in if they try to do that again? Not to mention, we fully expect there's going to be partner devices out there. And we're also saying the fact that this is Windows and they're saying that anything is an Xbox, you don't really need to make a lower performance device, because someone, if they needed a cheaper option, can just go elsewhere to still play these games. That's my reasoning and thinking on this, and I'm sure they'll prove me wrong next year in FNS, but that's my thought on it.
That is an Xbox, right?
Yeah.
See? That's triggered a number of people already.
Yeah.
But no, I totally get it. The only reason why I thought they'll do an entry level is for two reasons. Number one, the handheld is going to be, I mean, you've got the base handheld, which I think will be roughly about 600, maybe, and I'm talking in pounds, not dollars. So maybe even 500 for us and $600 for you guys. And I think the X will be 800 for us and 900 for you guys. I think at that price point, for those that are on a budget, it's going to be a hard sell. And the one thing Microsoft wants to do is appeal to everyone, try and get everyone in, whether it's through a Fire Stick, through your TV, through the cloud, through Game Pass, or just through an affordable medium that's low enough to provide you with a good experience, but as I say, literally bare bones entry level.
Yeah.
And that's why I was thinking they might do it, and they can get away with it, as long as they don't gimp on the RAM, right? That lesson has to be learned. You can't make that mistake.
Which, like I said, again, I'm sure they have plenty of lessons learned now, that once developers actually were trying to make these games, and we've obviously seen the various examples of them having issues with it. What was I going to say? Oh, just again, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's funny coming off of our last, I think it was last week, I was on here talking with you.
Yeah.
And now you've had Sarah Bond and Lisa Soup back to back, essentially in these 1.5 minute videos, lay out the whole plan for what they're doing. I mean, I think this is an Xbox makes a lot more sense today than it did 2 weeks ago. And I'll say it this way: take the console wars out and all that stuff. This isn't a bad thing for if you're a gamer, because they're just allowing you to play the same games that you would have played on the console anyways, on any device that you want. The console's still there. The games obviously are coming. We're seeing all these games that they got coming in the next few years. Handheld, cloud streaming. You can build a PC, play it there. It's like, I like the flexibility, having options, and I do think this is Xbox gets in trouble over the years because I think they're always aggressive with trying to innovate. That's what cost them in 2013, which everything they were trying to do in 2013 we essentially all do now.
Yep.
We're very early with it, and the messaging sucked. And that is honestly their number one problem, is they need better messaging. They need to do what they're doing right now, even if it's these little vignette clips. Start talking about where you're taking stuff. Give people an idea so they can understand how all this is going to work. I think the next piece to this, which is probably Gamescom or something like that, is dive deeper into what the Windows integration looks like. I mean, I got to see it, but they're not showing the public yet, right?
Yeah.
Because they're still working on it. So show the public what this Xbox experience looks like on Windows. And like I've said, I think we get to a day where you can just say, you know what, I'm going to build a PC, I'm going to install Windows on it, enable game mode, it's an Xbox. I think that happens. And I heard you talking earlier, backwards compatibility is coming. They're doing whatever form of emulation to get it done. But you know, you're going to play your 360 and Xbox One games on the Windows OS. Obviously, the current Series X games and everything moving forward has Play Anywhere. I don't think that's an issue, but they're clearly looking at some form of emulation to get this working on Windows. And I think I talked about something kind of funny the other day. First party is a guarantee. Third party comes down to licensing. If the publishers allow it, they'll do it. The ones that don't, they won't.
But here's the thing, right? And this is what I was asking earlier. I'm not sure if he was in earlier on in the chat, but if the direction that they're going in, they're going to put Steam on the platform. That's pretty much a given now. They've pretty much confirmed that by saying they're going to have multi-launchers. So you'll be able to play your game, Steam games or Epic games, on your next generation Xbox. What doesn't that diminish Play Anywhere? Considering if I've got it on Steam, then I can play it on my console, I can play it on my handheld, I can play it on my PC. Where does the USP now lie? Because for me, Play Anywhere right now is a USP. If a game is offered to me on Xbox that is Play Anywhere, I will buy it on the Xbox store 100% without thinking. It's like a no-brainer for me. But
you have to think of it this way.
Where does it go now?
This is bigger than Xbox. This is about Microsoft wanting to get their app store on the iPhone. That's what this is really all about. That's what these open platforms is about. They want to be able to sell their stuff on every device. And Apple obviously is the biggest deterrent right now. That's why you see Microsoft supporting Epic with all the lawsuits and everything that's currently going on with that. Sure, Steam, the Epic Store, all that will be on an Xbox. Sure, you can still just go buy the games on Steam and they lose 30% every time you do that. And they obviously lose the 30% if you don't buy a third-party game, excuse me, through their Microsoft Store.
Yep.
But they're the #1 publisher in the world right now. They literally bought their way to be the #1 publisher. So just by damn near by brute force, they're still going to make a ton of money in gaming.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that.
Whether you buy it on Steam, Epic, on the PlayStation Store, on the Nintendo Store, you're still buying Microsoft games. I mean, the biggest loss that they're going to get would be the people that decide to not buy a third-party game through the Windows Store, the Xbox Store, because they'll lose that 30%. But they're still going to make a boatload. I mean, we're already seeing it in this sense. And I said this jokingly the other day. I go, everyone talking about, oh, there's no games to play on PlayStation. Yeah, there is. It's called Sea of Thieves and Forza Horizon 5 because the numbers show you that there's plenty of people playing those. And what's the #1 pre-ordered game right now? It's Gears of War, a 20-year-old game. So there's clearly a demand. And Phil Spencer's said, I'm a very lucky person. Probably some of the biggest gaming interviews ever I've been a part of just by dumb luck. Because when Phil Spencer was on Kind of Funny, I guess that was 2 years ago now, on XCast, and
I remember
he laid out they lost the most important generation, which was the previous one, which was the start of the digital libraries. That's why Xbox has had such a tough time getting people, to jump into their ecosystem, because the requirement was I got to buy an Xbox to do so. And people are like, well, I've already invested in PlayStation. I got all these games in the PlayStation library. I'm not doing that. Now you don't have to. They're clearly told you, stay where you are. What did Phil say? He said this in January, I guess. I'm no longer trying to get people to leave their ecosystem. Stay there. We'll come to you. We'll take a 30% hit doing that, but we're coming to you. And now, being the biggest publisher in the world, we will have so many titles that are coming out annually that, yeah, they're going to make a boatload. Not to mention, if you stay in our ecosystem or join our ecosystem, look at all the benefits that we give you with Play Anywhere, Game Pass, yeah, obviously, right? All the cloud streaming, all these things that you'll get from their services if you invest in it. Now, me, I'm already part of the Xbox ecosystem. I have really no incentive to leave, but sure, I will take advantage of the fact that I have games on Steam that I can now play on my consoles in the future, right? So that's how I look at it. I don't see this being a bad thing for the consumer.
It is,
and
there's nothing here that's bad.
But you have people arguing that though, and I actually had an in-person conversation at Summit Games with someone about that kept, well, Xbox is losing their identity, and I go, I don't disagree with that, because that was one of my early concerns. But ultimately, my question back to him was, you as the consumer,
what is it
how does this hurt? How does it hurt you?
Yeah,
because you still get all the games. You can you now have the choice of buying Xbox hardware or buying whatever you want. You got the choice of subscribing to Game Pass. No one's forcing you to do any of these things, but Xbox is still delivering games on your platform of choice. So how does this hurt you? And then I couldn't get an answer at that point.
You know what it is, right?
That's all I'm saying.
You know what it is, right? It's that Sega and Nintendo rivalry, right? We grew up with that as kids. So,
right.
You know, back in our days, that rivalry used to look kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then you had like the PS1 era and the Sega Saturn era, and that rivalry was still cool. You'd go into school or go wherever you was, and that rivalry was all about fun and games. Now it's all just toxicity and shit like that. And
yeah,
I just don't care for any of it. Like, you're looking online right now, and even those people that are trying to argue against like this thing that Microsoft is doing, and you know, you see a bunch of, and it's mainly coming from the PlayStation fans, to be fair, but the only reason they're doing it is because they're concerned what it means for them. That's the only thing I can think of, because why would you care what Microsoft is doing? As you say, what does it? How does it affect them? It doesn't.
Well, see, it's like I just see in your chat right now, you know, and I know they're just lightly going back and forth about it, about the potential of PlayStation blocking these games via Steam. I've said this from the start. PlayStation's not going to do that.
Nope.
If I bought the game, I own it. You're going to tell me because it has the Xbox app on it and an Xbox logo on the outside of the box, because it is a PC, I'm not going to play it? Why would they risk upsetting their customers? Because clearly I have an interest to play the game. I bought it on PC. You've already, for years now, put games outside of your ecosystem onto PC. So it shouldn't matter. I don't see PlayStation jumping through the hoops to try and block anything. I mean, hell, they just now are starting to allow the regions where that didn't have PSN, they were blocking it. Now they're allowing it. Yeah. In other words, it's about making money. At some point, we got to take our personal feelings out of these things and look at the cold hard truth. These are businesses that have to continuously grow and make money. Why would PlayStation do that?
Well, this is what I've been saying, right? At the end of the day, shareholders don't care about feelings. They just care about the returns. They invest money and they want a return. And if they see a way to make more money, they're going to do it. And if they see a new market there by allowing these games to, well, I don't really see how they're going to block it, considering it's Windows by nature anyway. But even the games that they were blocking with the whole PSN thing, they realize how much money they've just left on the table, and businesses are in a business to make money. They're not there to be your friend. Exactly. Their whole aim is to make money so they can make a profit and get themselves a tidy yacht somewhere, or a new boat, or a new spaceship, or something along those lines. You know, rich people things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always said that what Microsoft is doing right now, I know people are, as you said earlier, you know, it's very, they were just way too aggressive about it, but after $69 billion, you kind of have to be. And what they were doing apparently just wasn't working, so they had to pivot. And I think ultimately, this is better for them. The only thing I disagree with that they've done recently is number one with Gears of War multiplayer. I don't agree that they should have added that toggle in for multiplayer, because games like Gears especially, you kind of want it to thrive, and the multiplayer on that has always diminished over time, and segregating the markets isn't a good thing in my opinion, even though I do get PC has cheaters. But it was the play anywhere thing that ultimately had my mind boggling, like how will they, because in the last showcase they pushed play anywhere like there was no tomorrow. Everything shown was play anywhere, literally. It was like center forward. If you had a shot for every time they said play anywhere, you'd have been drunk on your way to hospital.
Yeah.
But with the whole Steam situation, I think it diminishes the value of play anywhere a little bit.
But I guess my point, and I hear what you're saying, but I think the point that I was even trying to make on that, it's up to the individual. That's essentially what they're saying. If you value what Play Anywhere brings to the table, you'll invest in it. If you don't, then they're clearly okay.
This is what I'm saying though. How does how does Play Anywhere differ to me buying the game on Steam? And essentially, I can play anywhere, right? I can play it on my Xbox console. I can play it on my new shiny Xbox handheld. I can play it on my PC, my laptop. I guess the only place I can't play it without going through a third-party system is the cloud.
The cloud would be a part of it, but I think it's as simple as what I was just talking about before. They're no longer going and trying to convince you to invest into a digital store. So if Steam is your digital store of choice, they're like, okay, go buy it there.
I think that's the key.
We're not going to stop you.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing now. I think that mentality is pretty on point. I think they just don't care anymore. At the end of the day, if they get 70%, they're happy with 70%. If they get 100%, even better. But 70% is better than 0%.
Right. Exactly. And that's how I'm seeing. They're like, look, we wave the flag. This is not good. We keep banging our head against the wall. Doesn't matter if we have the most powerful hardware. Doesn't matter if we offer these amazing services. People have become entrenched in their digital eco space. So we need to bring our product to them where they're comfortable and on the device they're comfortable with. That's how I see it. And it's so funny. Like I'm explaining this right now. I've obviously talked about this a lot over the years, and it's always funny to me that people see that as, you're just a mouthpiece for Xbox. You're just marketing. You're just shilling. It's like, no, I'm smart. Sorry. And I actually see what's happening in the industry, and I try and talk about it at an intelligent level. That's all it is. Because I really could care less where you go play your games. If you love PlayStation, knock yourself out. No one's telling you not to.
The best thing I like, Paris, is where they go, but in 2009 you said this. Look how you flip-flopped. And you've changed. You got back on your word.
He really went through 15 years of tweets to go find something. And that was the best you could do, where I was joking about Connect in 2009.
I liked Connect. I think I might have been the only one, but I did. I genuinely did like Connect. I think it was
my issue. It was never with the technology of Connect. It was when we got to Xbox One, and you basically charged us $100 premium, and you forced that camera into the bundle, and you essentially, I just talked about this too, you lost the generation that night. When you came out and said $500 and the camera that afternoon, and you gave PlayStation 6 hours to huddle and figure out, well, what do we do? Let's not force a camera into our bundle and drop the price $100. They won.
But here's the thing, right?
Then and there.
Here's the thing. You look at the PSVR one, right? And they didn't supply that with the console. It was a niche product. Sony pretty much dropped support for it almost instantaneously.
Yep.
And it pretty much died. You look at the PSVR 2. I paid 500 quid for my one. I bought it day one. And it has more dust on it than I can care to imagine. But Sony has dropped support, and as we'll see in a little bit in the stream, they have actually it looks like Sony's games are dropping support for the PSVR, like we can see here. Beat Saber is ending support for PlayStation 4, 5, PSVR, and PSVR 2 starting June because it's just not selling. The idea of the Kinect was that if they sold, as they sold 60 million Xboxes, publishers would know that there are 60 million Connects out there,
Right.
and I
you
think
would say
that's
you
why
can-
they
you can
did
support
it.
No.
And so they would have
I'm with
supported
you
it.
on it. 100% agree.
I think it was a good idea, but I
The
think the
thought-
price point was wrong.
Spot on. That's exactly what I was going to say. It wasn't the idea of bundling it with every console makes sense because now you can guarantee devs are guaranteed that, hey, we know this person has it in their home, so let's support it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was the price.
Yeah,
That's why I said you charge $100 premium for it. If you wanted mass adoption of Connect, you got to eat it. That was my whole point because it's so funny. The first time I ever spoke to Phil Spencer, it was 2014, right? At the E3 2014 when he became CEO. And that was literally the first thing I said. I go, I don't like Connect, and here's why. And I broke it all down for everything that I just said just now. But that was really my first conversation with him. But the whole point, yeah, if Xbox One would have been $399 with Connect included, and let's not forget, and I tell anyone this, go back and watch the Xbox E3 2013 showcase, stacked with games, great games. They'd have been fine. They'd have been completely fine. But the fact that they had the bad messaging about how they were doing the game sharing, $100 price premium, a camera that not everyone was on board with,
and the DRM.
Yeah, the DRM stuff. PlayStation comes in, Adam Boyes and Shu go, this is how you share a game. And then Andrew House comes out, $399. And I was in the crowd that night. I've never heard people cheer so loud for a price point in my life. That was honestly one of the greatest gaming moments in history, was that night at the PlayStation Showcase, because Xbox lost right then and there.
Yeah, they did.
Very point blank.
Yeah, there's no shadow of doubt. That right there was the complete sucker punch, and they came out with all these ideas. Like, I mean, they still haven't come through with their Xbox Family Plan, right?
No.
It's like,
I question if they even do it at this point. The fact that, look, we know they're going to raise the price on Game Pass again.
But what about the fact that they were talking about the ability to trade in your licenses for credit on the Xbox Store? They had that ready to go on the Xbox One. Why don't they do that now on the Series, where we are now?
Because it's more profitable to not let people trade in, maybe? Go buy it again? I mean, it's cold hard truth, but that's probably
I 100% agree with them, but they're losing so much. I guess Microsoft doesn't do any physical games anymore. But
yeah, I was just talking about that too, and I was saying this to a few people because they're not happy about the physical stuff. Excuse me, they're not happy about the physical media, and I'm like, I agree with you. We should, because I was saying the next Xbox will be all digital. There will be no disc drive. They're not going to support it at all. They're literally setting you up for that future right now. Because look, no more games has a disc. It's all digital codes.
Well, haven't you seen the boxes now?
And it kind of breaks their play anywhere strategy by doing that. Because now if you have a physical disc, you can't necessarily always play your games on any device because the license is on the disc.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan. I want to be clear. I'm not a fan. I wish they would still make physical media, but
they clip them out of context.
It's why they're doing it.
But if you look at some of the boxes now, the new box arts that I've seen for certain games, it says Xbox Series and then Windows.
Mm-hmm.
It has both of those labels on the Xbox case.
That's why you see Xbox PC now.
Yep. That's
the branding. Like we've already said before, and I should probably go. I don't want to derail everything, but I am excited for this future to see how it goes. Can they pull it off? TBD.
That's the exciting part.
The concept of what they're trying to do, that's exciting to me. I want to see if this can be pulled off, because I do think that is some innovation in the gaming space that we've not had in a very long time. Where
here's
now,
one for
you. Yeah, go ahead.
Is your if this future that we are seeing right now materializes, and we have heard, and chat, just bear with me for a second, we have heard Gabe on multiple occasions turn around and say that he is happy to integrate Game Pass into Steam Do you think that that could be a future that we see with the next Xbox, where not only is Steam going to be on the next generation Xbox, but it will also integrate with Game Pass, so the games that you already have that are play anywhere on your Xbox will just boot off the Steam launcher if you're on PC.
I would love that. I just don't see the incentive for Valve.
I mean, they said they would Gabe publicly said that he would have no problem.
Keyword on what you just said. Gabe said it. What did the CFO for Valve say? That's what I want to know. Because again, I want to know what the financial incentive is. Look, in theory, in Happy Land, of course, and I'm sure Gabe would love to do that. But then when I go, but wait, Gabe, why are we undercutting ourselves? And are we profiting off of this? Are we getting an advantage out of this?
Well,
wait a minute. No, we're not.
But maybe they are. Maybe they are. Because let's say, for example, I'm a diehard Xbox guy, right? And I only buy from the Xbox store.
Yeah.
But now there's like this shiny new launcher on PC that has everything that I want. I could use the Xbox app there. But now I've got the Steam launcher as well, which has my Game Pass games, that plays the same games as well. So not only am I now buying my games from the first party games where I want to buy them on my Xbox launcher because I play anywhere, but now it's giving me the, if I'm gonna boot off Steam, for example, or I'm at someone's house, maybe I'll see a game there that I want to buy. It opens that door for more business.
Yeah, you're taking the Amazon approach of be a loss leader on certain things. Like Amazon Prime is a loss leader. Right?
Yeah,
but
it opens the door to potential sales and potential customers.
You're footing the door.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean. Trust me when I say I would love to see that. I just wonder if that's something that we know Microsoft would love to do it too.
Oh yeah, Microsoft would absolutely love to do that, mate.
I just wonder if Valve would want that to happen.
Can you imagine what the state of the PlayStation fans would be if that actually did happen, though? I think they would lose it. I mean, they've already lost it because of my Xbox handheld.
Because isn't the other part of this, then obviously we know that Microsoft sells their games on Steam. That takes a financial incentive for me to want to go buy a game on Steam, or a Microsoft game on Steam.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Once it opens that door, Microsoft, and as you said, Microsoft doesn't care where you buy your games, as long as you're buying their games. So this just opens up an interesting door.
But that's what I'm saying from the Valve standpoint. If Game Pass is on Steam, and I really, really wanted to play Halo Combat Evolved Remake, I just subscribe to Game Pass and play it that way through Steam. When instead they could have sold it to me for $40 or $50 or whatever they'll charge. Right? I guess that's how I'm looking at it.
But if you're subscribed anyway, it wouldn't make a difference. You wouldn't be buying it anyway.
Well, no. I'm looking at it from the Valve standpoint. That's what I'm talking about. Valve just lost their 30% on a sale.
But they could make it from somewhere else if you see another game that you want to buy that you wouldn't.
No, true. But that's what I mean. Would Valve want to be that much of a loss leader in that respect? Especially now, Microsoft being the biggest publisher, all of their games are going to be as a part of this Game Pass service. That's a huge chunk that you would be losing because they're no longer buying it from your store.
I mean, people will still buy from their store because there's people that refuse to buy.
But what about the people that won't? But what about the people that would have, but now they won't? Going back to your original theory of, well, I got Steam everywhere. I don't need to buy nothing from the Xbox store. The opposite could be, well, shit, the Xbox is everywhere. I'll just subscribe to Game Pass and play all the games from that way.
I mean, if they were going to do that, they'd have done it already, to be fair.
Obviously we're just playing devil advocate back.
Of course.
But to the point, and I am going to leave, like I was joking in the chat just now because I do got to go. But in a perfect world, absolutely, I would love this. I'd love it if that would happen. People want to make money. People want, look, you got to wet my beak if you want me to participate. So what's in it for me? That's always the question that I ask.
Something I've noticed with Steam users, though, goodwill goes a long way.
Oh, 100, absolutely.
And, I've seen Steam, do some weird stuff in the past, but their goodwill in how they treat their customers ends up, even if they're losing money. Like there was a situation where they just instantly, there was something wrong with a certain game. I think it was Cyberpunk actually. They just instantly, without question, just said, you know what? We're just going to issue everyone a refund. We're not going to hassle you. We're not going to do anything. The game isn't working at this time. Anyone that wants a refund, go to this page, you get your instant refund.
And it was the best thing they ever did by doing that.
And the goodwill that they garner is what keeps people going back to them. So I think there is a world where it could work, just purely based on how much goodwill that they have, where people will look at that and say, you know what, they're treating me right, so I'll treat them right. And that does work. But time will tell, I guess. We don't have that long to wait, right? It's coming out next week.
Yeah, we'll see. But I think, and I'll end it on this, I'll leave and let you get back to your show. 2026, especially November 2026, is going to be very fascinating for Xbox. Celebrating the 25th anniversary. Obviously, we already have an idea of all the flagship games coming in some form next year. But now I'm seriously, and I was not thinking this until this week. At a minimum, we see the next Xbox at the 25th anniversary. We will see it. Whatever it is, we're going to see it.
Can you imagine? Next Xbox launches with Fable, Gears E Day.
No, think about it. You launch it. No, think about it. November 15th, 2026, Halo Combat Evolved Remake.
That's when it launched, right? That's when it actually launched.
Yes, and you launched the next Xbox on that same day, on the 25th anniversary.
It would be magical.
That would be insane.
They have to do it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going all in on that conspiracy theory, but at a minimum, you at least see it on that day. They show it. You see it. And Halo comes out the same day. Halo, I'm in the 90th percentile that we get a Halo Combat Evolved on November 15th, 2026. The hardware is a big maybe, but I think we see it.
Going to be interesting times, man.
Yeah.
Going to be very, very interesting. And it's going to be great for consumers, as long as you're not gatekeeping and console warring to
it's all changing. And I will 100% leave on this note. Just remember, social media is not real. The very people that give you grief and do all this stuff online will be the very same people that will want to shake your hand in person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I say that from personal experience. That's just how it is. Just happened 2 weeks ago at Summer Game Fest. One of my biggest griefers, met him in person, gave him the option, lay it on me. No, I'm good. I just appreciate everything you do, man. Blah, 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 blah.
Man, the guy saw the size of you. I was like, yeah.
That doesn't even matter.
I'm a keyboard warrior at best, mate. Not a mindset.
People just play a character online. That's
of
all
course
it is. I've learned that. Yeah. But I'm going to leave because I got to go take care of some stuff.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you always having me up. And I will let you get back to the show. And see, Power Boss, I'm leaving. I'm not here for an hour. But I'm sure we'll talk soon. Like I said, I'm always, whenever I catch you live, I'll just listen in. And then if you say something, I'm like, wait a minute. I don't think you're right on that. And then obviously here I am. So I will catch you later.
Take it easy, buddy.
All right, you too.
Huh. But yeah. Interesting times. Now, where were we, chat? Maybe PS fans love giving money to Microsoft? I mean, that's what it seems like. When you realize, just play a character. Alright, let's finish this 1 minute video. That's lasted the best part of like an hour.
In your living room and in your hands. Together with AMD, we are advancing the state of art in gaming silicon to deliver the next generation of graphics innovation, to unlock a deeper level of visual quality, and immersive gameplay and player experiences enhanced with the power of AI, all while maintaining compatibility with your existing library of Xbox games. This is all about building you a gaming platform.
So they are full in, and it does look like, you know, they are definitely going to be all in on this. I think it's going to be via emulation, and if this rumor is true that they are in talks with Xenia Canary, that's going to be kind of cool, because that emulator actually works really damn well. It's not perfect, but I'm sure Microsoft can get it working perfect, and that's exactly what they kind of need running. What they need to do, of course, is get the APIs connected to it, so if you unlock any achievements, it would actually work for you, if that's even a thing that's possible. But outside of that, it's a really cool thing for them to do. Excuse me, my mic was a little low, but yeah, interesting times.
Platform that's always with you, so you can play the games you want across devices, anywhere you want, delivering you an Xbox experience not locked to a single store or tied to one device. That's why we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming.
And that pretty much confirms the Windows part, right? We want to confirm that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. That pretty much confirms it, right? The screen is fixed. Look, I did it in a really cool, seamless way that no one noticed. I think I played it off really well. See? Bold Alpha Wolf said totally. He totally agrees with me, see? At least I got one person in my corner.
The next generation of Xbox is coming to life, and this is just the beginning. We can't wait to show you what's next.
Neither can I, so hurry up and show it to me. Yeah, he's not heading it. I think it's the Surface team that's running the next one, which again kind of makes a lot more sense, because yes, Jason Ronald is really good at what he does, but he's more Xbox than Windows, and I guess what they're doing is getting the Windows team to deal with it this time. See? But there's also like if you remember the patents that were shown for Xbox, they showed like what looked like a Surface with two controller things like the Switch that kind of magnetically connect to the Surface tablet. I guess that's something that they potentially could look into as well, that they might be working on to expand their library. The Surface is a cool laptop, and it does come off of the hinges, so that's definitely something that could be on the cards as well. Interesting. But yeah, this is the one that actually caught my eye a lot, like Xenia Canary on the next gen, because I was actually having a discussion about this last night, saying how emulation would be the way they would do it, and it looks like if the rumors are true, that just might be the case. Will you need to troubleshoot anything? Troubleshoot in what way? Like the games? Not really. Whatever did happen to that controller? I think when Sarah said, what was it here?
Cross devices, anywhere you want, delivering you an Xbox experience not locked to a single store or tied to one device. That's why we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. The next generation of Xbox is coming to life, and this is just enhanced with the power of AI, all while maintaining compatibility with your existing live quality and immersive gameplay and player experiences.
The way she says there with immersive gameplay and gameplay experiences, I think she might actually be referring to that controller you're talking about, Steve. You know, haptic feedback, haptic responses on the controller, that all adds to that immersive experience. So I think that's what she's alluding to. I don't think we'll see it with the current generation Xbox, but I do think we'll see it with the next generation Xbox, and I think that's where it's going. Yeah, Double Walla. It should do. It's really well optimized. So I think, you know, that's where we'll see it. I mean, the next generation Xbox is going to have an AI upscaler. That's guaranteed. It's going to be within the AMD APU, so you know that is going to happen. Why would they want to copy the PlayStation 5 controller? I like the Series controller. Then again, I can't really use any of that stuff because it hurts my hands, but I wonder what the Xbox one is going to be. Considering Sony called their one the pisser, what is the Xbox one going to be called? The tosser? Oh, there's going to be a tremendous amount of salt coming our way. Oh. Do you know what I found the other day? Is it there? No, I put it back in the box. You know the Sega Saturn controller, the Knights controller, which the Dreamcast controller was modeled off? I actually found my Knights controller. Damn thing is beautiful. The upscale is a bit weird though, right? That it kind of uses the last frame to do what it's doing. I can't remember. It was called SR, right? Spectral resolution or something like that. I can't remember the full name, but I think it was SR. But yeah, I just, because I was trading some stuff into Computer Exchange and I found my Knights controller and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this. Totally hold on to this. I am not turning into DCG. Go away. That is just not a nice thing to say. But apparently AMD decided to come out as well and talk about celebrating 20 years of partnership. AMD and Xbox have redefined gaming together and we're just getting started. Our multi-year strategic partnership unleashes AMD Ryzen and Radeon power to co-engineer the future of gaming for every player everywhere. So let's just have a listen to what this one had to say, because, you know, in the proverbial saying, why not?
AMD and Microsoft are advancing a bold shared vision for the future of gaming, one that enables seamless gameplay across any screen, placing gamers at the center of the experience anywhere. We're so excited to be deepening our relationship with Microsoft and build on the over 2 decades of partnership, innovation, and trust. From the earliest days of the Xbox 360 to the most advanced consoles such as the Xbox Series X and S, and the recently announced ROG Xbox Ally handhelds. Moving forward, AMD will go beyond building custom chips for Xbox consoles to designing a full roadmap of gaming-optimized chips combining the power of Ryzen and Radeon for consoles, handhelds, PCs, and the cloud. And we're doing it all with backwards compatibility, so gamers can access their favorite titles across platforms, delivering on a promise to both gamers and developers. Together, we are building a vibrant open ecosystem that delivers the next generation of graphics and immersive gameplay.
That's actually really interesting. So they're not going to be working on custom chips anymore. They're kind of done with it. But they're going to be designing chips that will basically run these backwards compatible games on hardware level. That's actually really damn cool. That's actually really damn cool. So that kind of, if they're going to run it on a hardware level, that the emulation stuff then doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe it'll still be emulated somewhat, potentially, but I mean, it has to be, right? At some point, it has to be emulated. But it's interesting how, like, if I just rewind this just a little bit, is it about here?
Building custom chips for Xbox consoles to designing a full roadmap of gaming optimized chips combining the power of Ryzen and Radeon for consoles, handhelds, PCs, and the cloud.
So it looks like they're gonna have, and they're doing it with backwards compatibility in mind, but it's those well, not customized, I guess, but roadmap chips are just going to be available for you to buy by default in the shops. Or maybe they're going to release motherboards specifically with them. Hey, Paul, how's it going? It's I guess that's why the PlayStation fans are now lauding that they're getting custom chips and Xbox isn't. But I don't see this as a bad thing. I see this as a good thing. This just means that there'll be more support, more drivers, a better overall accessibility for them. Brick, that's true. Some news others might want to know in general. Let me have a look. Let's finish playing this, and it's only got like another 30 seconds.
And we're doing it all with backwards compatibility, so gamers can access their favorite titles across platforms, delivering on a promise to both gamers and developers. Together, we are building a vibrant open ecosystem that delivers the next generation of graphics and immersive gameplay powered by AI that includes new foundational models to accelerate the state-of-the-art in rendering. From console to cloud to handheld, AMD and Microsoft are building the future of immersive gaming. We are so excited to be working with Microsoft to bring all of this tech to gamers everywhere.
Everywhere, but where else? Everywhere, but where else? No, it seems interesting. So, custom chips are usually expensive. They're kind of tailored to a certain machine and only work with that machine. So, I don't know. It feels like the amount of support they get is limited. But these being readily available will have way more support. I think this is the right approach. All right, apparently Forbes is talking about cybersecurity while they are trying to murder my browser with all these stupid ads. All right, so apparently 16 billion Facebook, Google, and other passwords have leaked. Holy crap. Update June 19, 2025. This story, originally published on June 18, has been updated with comments from the founders of Keeper Security regarding the 16 million leaked passwords and other login credentials across the major tech. If you don't have two-factor authentication, do make sure you have it. Yeah. Huh? That's my one. I think it might be this one. Oh, that. I think I'll throw it away. Why? There's no way for him to put it back in. Tell him he can use my PC when I'm done. He can use my PC when I'm done. But yeah, this. You're waiting to pay no $60. You crazy. If you want that May 23rd report confirming the leak, login totaling an astonishing 184 million compromised credentials was frightening. I hope you're sitting down now. 16 billion. Make sure you've got your account secured, folks. This is not a drill. I've got two-factor authentication on everything, so I'm hoping that's going to be enough. But I guess changing your passwords is almost a certainty now. You need to do it. Yeah, definitely, Steve. This is scary stuff, man. 16 billion mate. That's crazy. There's like isn't that 7 billion people in the world? There's 16 billion accounts that have leaked. That's over double the global population. Is it 8 billion now? Still double the global population. Mate, you guys need to make your mind up. I went from 7 to 8 to 9. What do you think this is, an auction? Can I get a 10? Anyone with a 10? Going once. Going twice. No one coming in with a 10. All right, man. Sold to 9B over there. Wait, we've just come in with a number 10. It might have been too slow, but no, he's in. He's definitely in number 10. Can we get an 11? Can we get an 11? Right now, 11. I'm joking. So basically, theoretically, they have almost everyone. Well, they have everyone's info, yeah. That's a scary thought, right? That is a very scary thought. So apparently AMD has seemingly suggested things like Xbox Quick Resume could arrive on its next generation gaming chips in partnership with Microsoft. That is cool. That right there is really damn cool. I don't know about you guys, but to me, this is really cool. Quick Resume being available on your handheld, being available on your PC, on your console. I use it all the time, Bags. It's not overhyped at all. Once you get used to it, it's really hard going back to standard stuff. If you get accustomed to it and you get used to how fast you can switch between games, or just how fast your games boot up, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, they shouldn't try making it work on a live service game, maybe. Then they wouldn't be surprised. But if you try to get it working on Fortnite while you're stopping in between a game, then that might be why your friends are having a problem. Yep, Chris, and I am one of them. I don't think Sony will, to be fair. What did Woody say? Snap was a really cool feature as well. I really liked Xbox Snap. We lost, I mean, when you think about it, we actually lost quite a lot of things with Xbox One. Innovated parts continue. It's Teabag, spoken like someone who's never experienced it. And I get it. But if you had used it and experienced it and gotten used to it, not having it is noticeable. Wait, who's yawning? They're there? Nah, I'm just looking at something. Sorry, that was my bad. But yeah, so for me, Quick Redeem is actually interesting that it could be coming to PCs. Hey, Calandros. How can anyone be expected to watch whilst playing? Oh, I don't know. Just ask the ponies. They seem to be really good with that stuff. Man, you have some weird mental image of gacha players, man. I mean, sure, the minority are really, really wealthy, but it's not all like that. Chili was unable to make it today. Hopefully next week we'll have him back on, but he's busy today. Game Pass has landed with a bunch of games. So you got Crash Bandicoot. It's about time going into standard, ultimate, and PC. But for ultimate, you're getting Eternal Die, Lost in the Random, and FBC Firebreak. Now, I've heard mixed things about FBC Firebreak, from average to what the hell is going on to this kind of needs more work. Probably explains why it went into PlayStation Plus and Game Pass straight away. They got their money bags and said, you know what? We're good. Off we go. Hey, what's up? I didn't, but maybe someone did. I don't know. I said, I don't know where it is. This is the mystical fan that came off his PC, went flying, and almost chopped people's heads off. But that, as if that wasn't enough, then we get these games as well. You're getting the Warcraft pretty much trilogy back. You're getting COD World War 2, Against the Storm, Nightmare. This Little Nightmares 2 is really good, by the way. If you haven't played it, definitely play it. You're getting Steve's favorite game, Volcano Princess, so definitely check that out. And, you know, at least don't make it so Steve is the only one playing that game. The Rise of Tomb Raider seems to be coming back again. Star Trucker is going to standard, and Wild Frost as well. If you like Warcraft, though, I mean, this is only available on, this is Ultimate and PC. It seems to be PC only, basically, no console. And don't try to murder me, Bug. I know you're trying to, but don't do it. So these are PC only. So for those of you on PC, enjoy. Pony switching to Game Pass because of the bar. Hey, look, at the end of the day, they've all publicly admitted to having Game Pass. And the reality is, if Sony offered the same deal, they would have it for PlayStation as well. That's it. That's the truth. If Sony offered a deal like Game Pass, they would be subscribing. Alters is another really, really good one. I need to try Rematch out. It reminds me of a game I used to play on the Sega Saturn. So I need to try that out and see what it's like. Yo, Raichi, was that serious or were you trolling? Oh, look, Tarnished Gamer likes Volcano Princess too. Nice. Steve, you have people that are with you. For real, Xbox spends bazillions for us at this point. Yeah. Raven, games, and more games. Was going to talk about Play Anywhere, but I think we've kind of discussed this during the start of the stream and with Paris as well on, stuff. Unless anyone has any other thoughts. Nah. Brothers to the end, you're no longer brothers to the end. But does anyone else have any other thoughts they want to share regarding Xbox Play Anywhere? If it's available, how it will impact, I guess giving you the choice is always a good thing. And that's something that, people will value. What's this? Someone sent me something. I'll check it out in a bit. This looks interesting to say the least. But yeah. All right, let's move on from this because I've already discussed that to hell. So, Sony's PSVR aspirations seem to be crumbling. There's not much happening in the world of VR, especially since Half-Life Alyx came out. And it doesn't look like Half-Life Alyx is going to go onto the PlayStation 5 anytime soon. In fact, with the rumors going around, there's more of a chance that the next generation Xbox will run Half-Life Alyx than the PS5 ever will. That would also mean that Microsoft's first foray into potential VR would instantly eclipse anything that Sony has managed to do in a long time. I look tired. I'm good. I've had a busy week. Really busy. And I've got the fan blowing directly into my eyes, which doesn't help. But it is really hot today, and if I don't have the fan, it's going to be a problem. But yeah, my eyes are naturally just squinted anyway, but with the wind blowing directly kind of like updrift into my eyes with the fan being at the bottom, it's not helping. This one. But one of the things that Sony has going against them in the PSVR 2 is the fact that they just don't support their hardware. Which is a shame, because they could do so much with the PSVR 2, but I think ever since they pushed it over to PC with that adapter, I think they've just given up on it. Well, I mean, they released an adapter for 50 quid. They tried to, cash in on that as well. I think it's just stupid, honestly. Wait, what? Shut up, Steve. Shut up, Steve. Hey, Portal player, how's it going? But here's hoping Sony kind of, whatever they decide to release next, which apparently they're releasing a new handheld, they decide to support it, because the biggest problem with Sony is they don't support any accessory they release. Which is why the PS Portal did so well, because they literally had to do nothing. Release nothing. Do nothing. The thing just sold on its own as a remote player. get rid of that. This is going to be music to people's ears. Onimusha, Way of the Sword, won't be open world or Souls-like. Yes! It's just going to be your linear samurai game, chopping and changing. The bosses won't look at you and say, I'm going to be super cheap and do a hitbox attack that you can't see and take 99% of your life away just because. It's about time we finally have, a hack and slash game that doesn't require it to be a Souls game. This gets me excited, even more than I already was. What do you mean, wrong chat pixel? Button bash mayhem? Exactly. But yeah, I thought I was really, really chuffed to see this and read this. The fact that it's not going to be a Souls-like game. So, bosses won't come up to you and say, how you doing? And then you lose like 75%. And you're looking and you're going, hey, hold on a minute. And then he brushes past you and you lose another 24% of your health. And you're like, hold on a minute, I haven't even started fighting yet. And I'm at 1% health. That's a thing. It happens in these games. But now it won't. And that's a cool thing. Buttons. I mean, Souls-like now just means really difficult. That's it. Seems like any game randomly difficult is. Basically, yeah. That's it, pretty much it, Tarnished. If it's a difficult game, it's a Souls-like experience. I mean, look at Stellar Blade. That's being called a Souls-like experience because of the bosses. Everything else is fine, but I mean, even some of the combat enemies are a little annoying, but even that's being called like a Soulsy type game. Maybe not for you, Susanna, but for the rest of society, they're a pain in the ass. For me, Souls is like there isn't a pause button, so I can't leave what I'm doing. Calandros, me too. Me too, buddy. Me too. So there's been some fake news going around, right? Let me see if I can actually find. Maybe. But anyway, let's just use this pick. So I'm not sure if anyone's seen this for Gears. Apparently, FPS boost is a marketing term, which it isn't. This is for Gears essentially, and apparently it runs better on the PS5 Pro, which you would expect it to. But they're also saying that PC has a locked frame rate, and it locks itself to 120 FPS, which is complete and utter nonsense. PC can run the game uncapped, no problem. I don't know why these PlayStation fans have to lie about it. And let's be fair, is anyone surprised that the Pro runs it better than the X? Is anyone actually surprised that a console that is £250 more expensive is running the game better? No? I'm on my own here? I don't know. I thought it was common sense, buddies. But I think it was I can't remember who it was. Was it Steve? Was it you that proved them wrong? Either way, you know, has anyone seen that narrative going around at all where they compare the limited edition, well, the special edition Xbox, the Galaxy edition, to a PS5 Pro? Mate, you made me look, Paul. You made me look. Damn you. But why are you looking at the 2 terabyte Series X, Raichi? The standard Series X exists at $499.99, and you can get a 1 terabyte hard drive for it for $100. So it's $599.99. But if we're gonna then start get into semantics like that, you need to compare. You need to add a drive to your PS5 Pro, which is an extra 90 quid. So you're now going from $700 to almost $800. My Xbox has a stand built into it. Your PS5 Pro doesn't. You have to buy it separately. So now you're comparing something that would cost me £600 to something that Sony would provide for £810. The difference there is £210. Or if you want to compare the Galaxy Edition, we can do that at £700. But the PS5 Pro Limited Edition and the 30th Anniversary Edition is $1,000 or 10,000 now if you go to eBay. So you're comparing a $700 device to a £10,000 console. Yeah, good luck with that one. Because that's how this works, right? It's like for like. And even that $1,000 console does it even come with a drive? I don't know. Can't remember. But if you're going to compare the special edition, you've got to compare it to the actual 30th anniversary. And the difference there is still $300. Pixel. But yeah, I thought it was really funny. They keep going on with that narrative and it doesn't make sense. It just makes them look so stupid and silly. It's crazy. You know, it's like, hey, my 5090 is way more powerful than your 4090. Well, yeah, it will be. Well, yeah, but it's more powerful. But yeah, it will be. But it's more powerful. Yeah, I know, because you paid more money for it. Mate, I don't do that. I've got kids at home. What are you, crazy? I don't actually have the unedited photo. I don't think anyone actually posted it. Did anyone post it down below? Yeah, I don't think anyone actually posted it. But it's just dumb. It's just really dumb. Really, really dumb. Almost as dumb as this. Now, this is some serious narcissism going on here. But he believes that him making a post with full-on agenda to discredit the release of Final Fantasy 16 on Xbox, which, by the way, has hurt them god tier immensely, and its uprising support is thanks to him making these posts. My dude, if that isn't narcissism 101, I don't know what is. Then I think at this point, there's no stopping Nibs. He's just I don't even know what to say anymore. He's like, oh, I'm showing you factual information. Yeah, but you wasn't showing the top paid results, was you? Well, no. You was only showing the most played. Yeah. And it released in midweek as a shadow drop. Yeah. So if you showed the top paid, it would have actually put it into a pretty decent spot, wouldn't it? Yeah, but I wouldn't want to do that now because that goes against my complete agenda. Right? You zealot? Am I doing it right? Narcissism 101. But yeah, it's actually number 11th now for most paid. Yeah, he did. He did. He did. It's actually 11th now, and it's not the standard edition either. It's the Ultimate Edition version, the complete edition. Like this is beyond a joke at this point, man. The guy is trying to claim credit. This Alinea Analytics basically openly admitted, if you've seen my video, you will see it, that they looked at the 700 reviews and made a guesstimate based on that. And then they tried to backtrack that and say, no, we only used it as a reference. And then magically, some tweets then started to disappear as they started to delete any evidence of them saying dumb stuff and using dumb references to actually determine how many copies have actually sold. How the hell do you use reviews as a reference point to determine how many copies a game has sold? how, how do you even do that? How would anyone do that? I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's like, my dudes, like, what is going on? Like, seriously. I don't even know anymore. But you know what? Let me get something up and running, and we'll do another giveaway of Final Fantasy 16. Let's see. I should. Maybe it's still here. Where is my stuff? Where's my stuff? All right. Right, so this next one that I'm going to give away is going to be open to everyone. Then the next Dragon Quest I'm going to give away will be open to everyone. And then the last two I'm going to open up to members as my way of saying thank you for them being members to my channel. Let's see. So this one is going to be open to everyone. Let's do this. Nope, wrong thing. There we go. Go to the dash. All right. Nope, that is wrong. This is right. This is right. This is right. Let's see. And by the way, I did not buy these codes. These codes were provided to me courtesy of Square Enix. So thank you to Square Enix for providing these codes. I know some people are going to turn around and say, oh, look, people are buying games to inflate the numbers. You can't be that stupid. Anyone that actually believes that, you can't be that stupid. So please don't be that stupid. But if you put exclamation FF16 in chat, we can get this show on the road. Woodpit, I'm not joking. That is literally what was being said. You literally can't be that stupid. But yeah, thank you again to Square Enix for providing these codes. I appreciate it. And let's keep this running a little bit. Get some more in. I'll do a Dragon Quest one after this as well to give one away. If all possible. I'm sure Family Guy will be around to make another one. Don't you worry. But yeah, good luck to everyone who's entering. Remember, if you win, you're gonna need to either contact me through X or Discord, preferably Discord, so I can at least ask you something and you can post it in the chat so I can actually see it's you, because I almost made a mistake last time giving it to the wrong person, which I don't want to do. Give it another 30 seconds and then we will run the thing and see who won. Mate, Riddick is so cool. I think the latest movies weren't all that. It was nowhere near as good as what is it? Pitch Black, but still. You only need to do it once to enter, by the way. Gorsty, if you want a chance to win, exclamation FF16 in order to be in with a chance to win the thing. A copy of the game. This is an Xbox version of the game, by the way, and it is Play Anywhere, so you can play it on your PC as well. Steve, why are you even entering? Do you secretly want to play this game? Again, we'll do a Dragon Quest one after as well, and then later on in the stream, for members, I will run one final one. All right, give it another 10 seconds, and then we are good to go. Yeah, Xbox version is the Play Anywhere title. Yep, this is the version. If you want to enter, feel free to enter. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No way! Oh my god! You'd never believe who won. Congratulations, Woodpit. Let me reach out to me on Discord. This one was open to everyone, Rachie. You don't want it, Woodpit? I could always re-roll if you don't want it. What? Yeah, just reach out to me on Discord, buddy. And I'll get it to you. Let's see, Discord. Oh, there's the pictures. Open link. So there it is. I guess Woodpit isn't going to reach out to me on Discord. What a shame. No, you want it? Good stuff, man. Yeah, just send me a message. Let's get that to you now if we can. just drop me a message, Woodpit. Okay, so as we're looking at this right now, okay, there you are. Let me add you as a friend. Enjoy, amigo. Go become Clive and save the world. While I'm setting up the Dragon Quest giveaway, I will talk about this for a second. So this is what people were talking about. Upscaled. So what was this full image supposed to show? That the PS5 runs it exactly the same as the Series X, which is what you would expect. 60, 60, 60. Wait, they're all 60? What happened to the 120 that they said? Wait. What happened to this? Wait a minute. No way. No way. They all run the same. Let me just go here. It's gonna be easier. They all run the same FPS. They all run the same, and they actually went and did this. So wait, you're telling me, right, that you paid $800 for a console and it runs the same as a Series X and lower model PS5, with the only difference being that it runs like 200 pixels higher? If that is that it? Oh man, I'm so happy I didn't pay full price for my PS5 Pro. I am so happy I did not pay full price for my PS5 Pro. It kind of fucking sucks. That's rough, man. That is rough. All right, so this next one is open to everyone again. We're going to just quickly give away a Dragon Quest key. And that one... All right, so if we put... exclamation DQ in the chat. Exclamation DQ in the chat. This is again for Xbox. Exclamation DQ. This is for Dragon Quest Part 3 HD 2D Remake. This is not fake news, man. This is... How do you even do that, man? This is bad. That's rough, man. I'm getting those at some point, but 16 is a great game. And Woodpit, I hope you enjoy it. All right, any more entries? It's sad, man. It's sad. The moment you have to go to them levels of atrophy just to try and prove a point or to get one over, or the way, you know, you have to kind of manipulate what you're trying to show and make it look like the game didn't sell well, even though it's in the top, almost in the top 10 now for most sold games for a game that's what, 2 years old, and it's shadow dropped. with zero marketing, but you have to use other data to try and show your bad, your bad agendaed nature. I don't know. To me, that's just sad. And then on top of that, claim that you actually went ahead and it's thanks to you that they sold well. The fuck, man. Mate, on the PS5, Final Fantasy 16 ran atrociously. It ran so bad. Every time I played it, I was suffering some form of vertigo. I was feeling sick like crazy. What I've played on the Series X so far feels a lot more stable, except the beginning. The beginning's all over the place. But there's a lot happening in the beginning, and it was the same on the PS5. Now, when is Final Fantasy 16 coming to the Switch too? Right, any more entries? Gonna close it in 10 seconds. Exclamation DQ. Anytime, Woodpit. I'm happy it's all good for you, buddy. Like, Ghosty must have been at the toilet again. Man came back at the perfect. Oh. Maxime92. If you contact me on Discord, I will get you your code, buddy. Congratulations. You have won. Just showing it there. Congratulations. You have won. How is it fixed? What do you want me to do? Give moderators 5 times chance. Yeah, Maxine, my Discord is in the comment section below. Feel free to reach out to me now if possible, and I will give you your code. Only 5 times. Wait, you want more? You want more, buddy? Awesome stuff. But yeah, that's sad. The fact that they had to go and try and manipulate the numbers like that, that is less sad. Less sad. But here's more proof of the game in I don't really understand what this is proving. Doesn't show me anything. But it is in the top paid 11. I checked it myself. It is actually there. So good shit. At least people are actually enjoying it and are playing it. It was rigged like the Game Awards. My chat is awesome. They are always awesome. You'll get a few people coming in, and I don't mind if you're a PlayStation guy, a Nintendo guy, or an Xbox guy, PC guy, whatever. Just civilized is the way to go. That's what's important to me. But yeah, maybe there is some truth that Xbox gamers do buy games after all, with the right amount of push. That's the thing, Cesano. I've never understood why people do shadow drops. Shadow drops are just weird. right? They've got no marketing. You really do hurt the chance of the game succeeding unless it's really cheap. Raichi, I've spoken to a few people who ended up buying it on PlayStation, and they actually turned around and told me that they weren't aware that the game was available on Xbox. Because Sony had the marketing rights, they made it look like it was exclusive, so they didn't actually know that it was available on Xbox at all at the time. But that's a thing too. Are we talking about the year Astrobot released? Was Indy that year? Indiana Jones? Because if it was, Indiana Jones was my game of the year. Let's see this year. All right, just to make sure, I'm gonna ask you to type something in chat. No offense to you. I know you're a member on my Discord. Just type this in chat for me, please. It's a very specific term, and there's no way anyone would guess this. I just need you to write that in YouTube chat. Now, I wouldn't say nothing like that for them to type bullets. I just asked Maxime to type something in YouTube chat. Nope. There you go. Perfectly timed. It is Maxime. There you go. Congratulations. There is your code. Well done. It was Steve related. So apparently acquisitions are good again, folks. Acquisitions are good again as Sony apparently is considering acquiring Warner Brother Games. Not sure how true this is, considering they're falling apart with everything they're doing at the moment, but hopefully they'll find their footing one way or another. But is this really the path that's best for them at the moment? I guess they need games coming out soon because they don't really have much with everything that got cancelled. That must have hurt the portfolio library quite a lot. But are acquisitions now good? And what exactly does Warner Brothers have now? I guess Mortal Kombat? Batman? I guess they have the Squad game. If they ever decide to release a sequel. Wait, who did you type out? Why are you doing? It's only game assets? What do you mean by game assets? Let me know if there's any problems, Maxine. And if Steve has timed you out, let me know in Discord. Bad Steve. I did ask for that though. I kind of put you in crosshairs for no reason. Why would you get? Why would you time him out? You know, in the words of the proverbial nibs, the guy spoke fact. Timed him out for 10 seconds. But yeah, I mean, is there a need for Sony to go and buy Warner Brothers right now? I don't know. If it's, I don't understand what it means by assets, game side only, not the whole. Oh, not the whole Warner Brother, not the whole game studio of Warner Bros. But what do you mean by game side only? I mean, you're saying that it's game side only, but not the whole game studios. So who are they buying? Warner Brothers Games is the game studios, no? That's the whole point of them. I mean, tarnish there is that too. They're burning the squad. I don't know. I remember at the time when we were looking into this, there was rumors that Microsoft were going to buy them. And just looking at the games, I don't know. Awesome stuff, Shadow. Congratulations. Loving the fact that it worked. Love to hear it. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this other than the fact that I just don't know if they make another Arkham game, I can see people being upset with that not being multiplat, I guess. But outside of that, what does Warner Brothers? I guess they got the Harry Potter game, Hogwarts game, which is, that's kind of cool. But would that be included in this? Would Arcane Studios be included in this? Would Rockstar be included in this? Or Rocksteady, whatever they're called? Yeah, let's not get let's not get silly now, Bags. That's not gonna happen. They're just gonna take Superman 64, repackage it, and say, "Here you go. You wanted Superman. We've given you Superman remastered." I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of games Warner Brothers can make. I mean, I really don't see how the Flash game would work. What are they gonna do? Sprint to the finishing line? Hey, you spent $70 on this game. Hold up. 5 seconds later, you win. Game over. You've succeeded in completing the game. Yeah, I'll need to look into this a lot more to figure out what they're talking about and what it is that's actually being sold. Because none of that makes sense to me. Yeah, Max definitely hasn't played Superman 64. Because no one would even joke about that sentence. That game. Oh, what was this? No, we're not using that. That's for me for later. Don't care about that. Okay. So did anyone see Asmongold completely destroy Reforge? By the way, if there is any more news that I've not covered, feel free to send it my way via Discord or something, and we'll look into it. The Roach guy. So here we go.
I don't think this has anything to do with me.
Two people in the chat, or a couple people in the chat, saying DEI game or DEI.
It's probably because the black guy, not because of the girl. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, not that that makes it any better, but like, it's just not the protagonist.
Here he comes. Here's everyone's
who
favorite.
is this guy? Reforge Gaming.
Who is this guy?
People called it a rage bait. I was like, okay, I'll make you a deal. If the community, people called it a rage bait. I was like, okay, I'll make you a deal. If the community note comes off of that tweet, so then it actually makes me money, I will delete the tweets to prove to you I don't give a frick about this stupid social point rat race.
What? Wait a sec. So if you delete the, if they remove the community note, so it makes him money, he will delete the tweet so it doesn't make him money? Is anyone following that logic? I'm guessing that's where the facepalm is coming in. So if they remove the community note so he can make money, he will delete the tweet so he doesn't make money. Big guy, please. Big bro. So like, why not just delete it in the first place? I'm exactly, Banisher. I'm so confused.
So let me get this. So if the community note that says that he's wrong is removed, then he will admit that he's wrong? Who the fuck is this guy?
That you guys play.
Like,
people called it a rage bait. I was like, okay, I'll make you a deal. If the community note comes off of that tweet, so then it actually makes me money, I will delete the tweets to prove to you I don't give a frick about this stupid social point rat race that you guys play.
Why do you try to pretend that you don't care about popularity of your channel? You literally, like this, I hate it when people do this. This is so annoying.
People called it a rage bait.
Like you have your member goal that's in the corner. My webcam is covering it, but you can see it right there. You're talking about being a Twitch partner, and there's nothing wrong with this at all. But how are you, like, what is this? Use my trash gameplay link to the video. What? I'm so confused. What a weird guy.
I haven't seen this before, by the way.
Doing anything for attention, he's farming you? I don't think he's really farming. No, guys. I don't think he's farming anybody. I think this is...
PC guys are hilarious.
The Roach King is convenient.
Commentary about games not coming to PC within 2 to 3 years. You PC guys are hilarious. You're hilarious. As you get really upset and really angry at multiple bad multi-platform launches.
Wait. So let me get this right. As a PC gamer, if a game comes out and the game isn't built correctly and it doesn't run, is he saying that I shouldn't get upset about this? That I shouldn't go on to complain in one way or another that this game is broken and they need to do better and fix it? I paid my hard-earned money for this game. Is he saying that we shouldn't be complaining? Hey, Arif. Yep, we are live. Is that what he's saying? This doesn't make sense. This literally doesn't make any sense. Like, how does this make any sense?
And
why would they not be mad if the game comes out and it doesn't work and they buy the game? Don't you have a what? What are you? Who is this? What?
Multiple really bad ports to PC. Here's an idea. Maybe get your own games. Do you ever?
What? So it's the people's. What the fuck is? Who the fuck is this? This is insane.
What?
Guys, I gotta go. I don't even want to watch the rest of this. This is so stupid. I have to watch it. No, actually, no, I don't. This is pathetic and stupid, and it's a waste of everybody's time. I'm not even going to spend another second on it. I'm going to go to McDonald's, I'm going to eat my Chipotle, and I'm going to fucking fall asleep on the floor, and I'm going to wake up early tomorrow, and we're going to go live again. Okay? I'll see you guys then.
Man, when the Roach King just literally rage quits. Yeah, if it is definitely it's definitely hot tonight. I've got my fan blazing at me. Got some water. It's a thing here in the UK, man. Reality is broken. Can I have a refund, please? You should just fanboy Steam. Never. Right? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. Reforge is dumber than it. It's like I've just paid $60 for a game and it's not performing well, despite the fact I've got a capable PC. Of course I should. Why wouldn't I want to moan about it? Oh my god, this is crazy. This is mental. Mate, when you got the Roach King just not knowing who he is and can see past the BS, that's when you know you've kind of hit full circle, man. No way, this is like holy crap. Oh. So Arif, basically what happened was the guy that was in the video, not the one in the bottom left hand corner, but the one that was talking, he was saying essentially, you spend your money, buy a game, and it doesn't work properly. If you moan, the problem's with you, the consumer. You shouldn't be complaining to the people that made the game broken. You should just be happy with what you got. So, like, you go buy a car and it's missing, like, the wheels or the doors. You shouldn't complain that the car is missing its wheels or the doors. You should just accept it and drive the car home with 2 doors instead of 4. Or maybe a bonnet missing from the showroom. It's like... It's like... It's so kind of stupid. Oh, man. That's hilarious, man. That is hilarious. That's just... I don't even know what to say to that level of stupid. That truly, that's special. That's what you call some special. He can't stand Asmon. He hates on Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft a lot. I think it's just a meme to hate on Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft at the moment. It has been for a few years. It seems to get, it's like herd mentality. If you do it, you get the clicks, you get people cheering for you, jibing and whatnot, and it's just a thing. Ubisoft put themselves in a pretty precarious position, and now if you try to say something nice about Ubisoft, you get the hate mob literally on your case. And if you say something bad about them, everyone rallies behind you and you get a lot of engagement on X. Well, Reforge is a special one, Paul. He is. Hey, Yatazak, how's that Xbox Series P doing for you? Alright, so people wanted me to check this video out. And apparently it's good. So let's have a look at this. Whoa, why is this bug over here? Don't do that to me, man. If he wants to jump on, he can. I'm pretty much done after this thing, though. If there's not much else to... Well, let me drop him my thing. Actually, Powerboss, just drop me a message in Discord, and I'll send you a link. Alright, so let's check this out. This one was brought to you by Steve, the Gears guy.
Hey there, gamers. Dreamcast Guy here, and today we have some breaking news because Xbox has just posted a very strange video. They posted this video that's about 70 seconds long talking about the future of next-gen hardware, and it confirms a lot of the leaks and rumors that have been going around that we've been talking about on the channel. It sounds like the next Xbox isn't just going to be made by Microsoft. Other companies are about to start making Xbox consoles, but more than that, it sounds like the next Xbox is going to maybe play Steam. It's going to basically be a micro PC, but let's watch the video because some people are saying this isn't a big deal. Some people are acting like this is the end of the world, but I want to just break it down with you. I hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, let's just say this first. A lot of people are making memes because the Xbox Series X and the Series S are some of the worst selling consoles of all time. It's crazy to think about the fact that this Xbox console generation is actually selling measurably worse than the Xbox One, which I have to admit, I thought that was impossible. The Xbox One was...
When they say micro PC, I assume they're talking about those NUC style PCs, those really small kind of cube PCs. I got one for my kid recently. They're really good, but I don't think that's what he's talking about here. I actually don't think he knows what a micro PC actually is. We'll put it that way. Because if he did, he wouldn't be calling it a micro PC.
Hey everybody.
Hey, Power.
So you're missing a little bit of a key context from the Reforge and Asmon clip stuff. Basically, it's over Reforge's clip of the Resident Evil 9 that he posted, that he got community noted on. He said that he would delete it to prove that he wasn't wanting to make money off it, that it wasn't a rage bait.
So why not just delete it straight away then?
Right. And the community note was removed, and then it was reapplied.
Because he didn't delete it.
Something like that, I guess. But the thing is, Asmongold wasn't reacting to his RE9 take. He was reacting to the PC Gamer take from a totally different stream that Frit posted. And the whole thing is, Reforge responded the next day when somebody told him in his chat that Asmongold responded to it. And he went on this long diatribe of how he loves Asmongold, kept calling him, by his name, Zach, instead of Asmongold, like everybody professionally does. Like he's some buddy with him. And Asmon has no idea who the hell he is.
Wait, who was calling him Zach?
Reforge.
Dumbass.
Totally unprofessional in every way, shape, and form that you could possibly
don't use
think
people's
of.
real names, man.
Exactly. And he goes on to this whole long thing about how if he wants to either go on Asmon's stream and explain himself, or have Asmon go on to his stream so he can explain himself, he's like, come and ask me. I'll be straight with you and I'll tell you how I am. And he goes in talking about how he was in therapy for 2 years and he has a master's in counseling.
Crazy.
But yeah, it was funny because he's sitting here trying to defend Asmongold, taking him out of context, like apparently everybody does to Asmongold, yet Asmongold brings it upon himself for some of the topics that he covers, and he knows he does. But at the same time, he's trying to equate himself to Asmongold.
Yeah, he would never do that. He will never, ever do that.
Reforge or Asmongold?
Reforge will never reach that height.
Oh, he never reached that height, but that's what he was trying to compare himself to.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. He'll never.
So yeah, it's really funny. He's sitting here thinking that Asmongold only reacted to the RE9 tweet about the protagonist.
But he didn't.
No, he was completely reacting to a different clip that he watched, which is the funniest part about it all.
Hilarious. That guy can't stop taking L's.
Did you happen to read any of the chat as it was scrolling by on Asmon's stream?
Bits of them.
Oh my god,
VTuber stuff and whatnot.
They were roasting Reforge. And a couple people in the chat knew who he was because they were saying, you know, his name about what happened to him 5 years ago and all this. Oh yeah, and Reforge was bringing that up too. That 5 years ago there was a hate campaign against him. You know, we don't have to go into that whole discussion again, but yeah.
Look, all I'm gonna say is this.
No, you don't have to. I know your stance on it.
Right? If you come out and publicly admit to doing something, you can't take it back.
I mean, whether he's guilty or not, he obviously feels some sort of way about it all and did some of the things because otherwise he wouldn't have had to make the apology video in the first place.
Exactly.
That's
so I'll just leave that there. I'll just leave that topic there. If you've got nothing to apologize about, you don't apologize. You don't apologize just for the sake of it. You apologize because you're sorry. And that's it.
And mind you, there was 2 apology videos too, because the first one that he took down was his wife sitting next to him, staring at him the whole time, and he was reading off a paper, never even looking at the camera. And then, what was it, like a week or so later, he went on another podcast, and somebody was interviewing about the whole thing, and it was the same day that he got banned from Destiny and Twitch that he basically refuted all the apology that he supposedly did in that video, saying everybody was lying about him.
Yeah, let's just move on from this topic. I don't want to bring this back up. None of my business, but I'll have I've said my piece, and that's all there is to it. Now let's continue with this video because apparently Xbox talks next gen leaks confirmed, but it's also it's weird. What's so weird about it?
Such a flop, but somehow the series is doing worse. So when I see memes like this, cool to see Microsoft getting back into the hardware game after skipping a generation. Ooh, that is Paul Sassy. Okay, let's start by watching the video. All right, here we go.
At Xbox, our vision is for you to play the games you want with the people you want, anywhere you want. That's why we're investing in our next generation hardware lineup across console, handheld, PC, cloud, and accessories. I am thrilled to share we've established a strategic multi-year partnership with AMD to co-engineer silicon across a portfolio of devices, including our next generation Xbox consoles, in your living room and in your hands.
In your hands.
Together with AMD, we are advancing the state of art in gaming silicon to deliver the next generation of graphics innovation to unlock a deeper level of visual quality and immersive gameplay and player experiences enhanced with the power of AI, all while maintaining compatibility with your existing library of Xbox games. This is all about building you a gaming platform that's always with you, so you can play the games you want across devices anywhere you want, delivering you an Xbox experience not locked to a single store or tied to one device. That's why we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. The next generation of Xbox is coming to life, and this is just the beginning. We can't wait to show you what's next.
Okay, so this confirms like 10 separate rumors. One of the talks that's been coming out is that basically Microsoft is trying to find a way to make Xbox more of Windows gaming? Meaning the fact that right now, obviously, Windows makes Microsoft literally trillions and trillions of dollars. But the idea of gaming on a lot of Windows handhelds right now, by their own admission, there's been a bunch of tech tests, a lot of devices that run like the tinier version of Windows, like even handhelds and stuff. It's not great. A lot of Windows gaming devices don't run as good. It's not as optimized.
But this is why they've just made the new UI to fix this problem. So, what's he talking about? You know, days before this, we've already seen the new Xbox UI with the, you know, Xbox LIX and Xbox Ally, where they've showcased, you know, images and whatnot of what the new UI looks like. So why is he even referencing what the old style is? Why not look at the new? I don't get it. Like, what's the point of that?
What, you asking me?
Chime in.
I mean, he's not looking past his nose of what this means for gaming, not only for Xbox, but for gaming in general, because they've already announced that this new UI is going to slowly roll out over the previous ROG allies that are out already. And I fully expect, because this is a Windows 11 operating system that's slimmed down specifically for gaming, that it's going to have some sort of a actual Windows PC crossover for, instead of the crappy Xbox guide button game bar that we have now. It's going to load into this UI instead.
Yep. I agree. Let's see what else is.
I think Paris hit it on the money with what he was saying earlier.
What's that?
That this is going to be so preferred because it's freeing up 2 gigs of memory by cutting out all the BS Windows behind the scenes stuff. The only thing is, how much of the back code base OS are you going to have access to?
Well, you're going to have access to both, right? You'll be able
on
to
the
boot into
PC,
both.
yes.
I think on the handheld as well.
Maybe on the handheld.
No, the handheld will have full fat Windows on
the Xbox Ally probably, but on the Xbox branded one, probably next year, I'm guessing. I don't think so.
What, you mean the handheld? The Xbox handheld?
Not the Xbox Ally, the actual Xbox handheld.
Yeah, that's not coming. I don't believe that's coming.
They could still make it. It's just been sidelined.
There's no need. They're going to get the... I reckon they'll get the emulation working on the LIX and the Ally.
Now, what if the whole backwards compatibility thing is only for the next Xbox console and not for this Xbox Ally?
Even then,
if they find a way... I was going to say, if they find a way for the OG Xbox games and the 360 games to actually find a way onto your cloud services.
They'll probably just find a way to stream it. I just don't see them. I don't see a need for them to have their own handheld. I know they've said they've sidelined it, and it's only a rumor that it's been cancelled by Tom Warren. But just looking at it from a business perspective, there's no reason for their own. I mean, they might release their own PC version, their own Xbox Ally version, you know, the same thing with the same OS. But I just don't see a reason for one to exist when they can just get everything working on the hardware that they've got now. The only difference would be that if they make it themselves, it would be subsidized. But I still think it will be a Windows-based device rather than an Xbox OS. Because that's just what makes sense. It doesn't make sense for them to do anything specifically, because then it's going to be completely different. Because they've already told you what we want to do is get your Xbox games, whether it's OG, 360, One, or Series, working on these. And
right.
Let's be realistic.
Your full library.
Yeah, and let's be realistic. What Series X game that's high profile isn't available on PC?
Or on the Play Anywhere title list.
Yeah, but what game isn't available on PC? And why would you want to play the console version when you could play the PC version?
Halo 5.
They're going to port Halo 5. You know they are. They're going to do the whole thing.
I mean, it's nearly one of the only games that isn't.
Yeah, it's a couple more.
At least right now.
Gears 2 and 3 as well.
True. But, all those talks about how GTA 6 is not going to run on this thing because it's going to be the PC version, and apparently this handheld only plays the PC version. They keep forgetting that if you buy it on the Xbox, you'll be able to use the remote play feature of this handheld.
Yeah, but remote play isn't really... You can do that with anything, right? It's not just this device. Now, what would be interesting...
OG 360 and Xbox games can also be remote played as well.
Yeah, but holy shit, that is huge! Wait. I swear to God, everything just wants to kill me in this area! Mate, that
Looks like
thing
we're
was
gonna need
massive.
new chaos.
It literally just started bouncing off the wall. Oh my God. Wait, if I could show you what that thing was. Yeah, we're used to... Oh my God. Yeah, find a way to fuck off. Okay, I'm going to have to go and call reinforcements. Okay, if you go that way, then I don't need to call reinforcements. You will slowly find your way out.
I would just take a shoe and swat at it.
It doesn't stop. Someone took my radar side. All right, we're good. It's gone to the other side. Hopefully it'll stay there, and I'm safe for the time being. Let's finish this video before it ends up coming back and dive bombing me and trying to kill me. Mate, that thing was ridiculous. It literally splat onto the wall, and all its legs were crooked and shit. Man, I ain't seen half of this bugs before. It's a Mothra. Damn right it is. I mean, I have to protect my life. Shit's scary.
It's in a weird spot where it's not bad, but just typical SteamOS. Any other handheld, everything runs better than Windows devices. So the talk has been that basically they're trying to optimize it. They're trying to make it where if you buy a handheld and it has Windows on it, it works just as good as the Steam Deck and everything, right? Very instant, very smooth, very fun. But the other thing this kind of confirms, in my opinion, is that when you break down what she said, we've established a strategic multi-year agreement. I feel like this is them basically saying this probably isn't coming out until 2028. But here's the thing, grounded in a platform design.
How does that mean that it's not coming out? Like, which part of that actually means that? Which part?
I mean, I don't see it being delayed that long because that would more coincide with the PS6. No. And he's hoping that they're going to launch side by side.
It's dumb.
Which they'd be stupid to do. They've already announced that they got a big 2025 lineup, or 2026 lineup announcement for new hardware at the 25th anniversary.
Don't worry, Woodpit. I catch them too. Well, technically, I get my kid to catch them with his shoe, but it still counts. I still have to make the effort to actually call my son to come and kill it. And look, I do give it a chance to live, right? I said if it goes over there in that corner and leaves me alone, I will not do anything. But if it comes in my direction, then it has to die.
The whole multi-year agreement with AMD across multiple portfolio devices, that's why when Paris was in here earlier that I said it sounds like they have the handheld, which is going to be at one spec, and they're going to do like what they did this generation with the Series S for a cheap and affordable, and a Series X, which is a much more powerful and capable.
Yep, but I think what Steve's saying is on point. Multi-year to me is more hardware in the future, and I agree with that.
That too, yeah.
Players not tied to a single store or device. Now, already on Reddit, they're very much debating what this means. Does that mean the talks of them putting Steam or Epic Store? Is that actually going to be on there? Some people seem to agree that it does. Some people say that it doesn't.
I mean, this
is
already
all
proved that
about building a gaming platform that will always be with you, so you can play your games across devices anywhere you want, delivering an Xbox experience designed for players, not locked to a single store. That, to me, does sound like it confirms the talks about the fact that there is going to be other styles of store. Now, the reason that's a bit of a good and a bit of a bad is that, according to their own financial paper, that means the next Xbox is going to be very, very expensive. And the reason why is
Phil Spencer has repeatedly said that he does not want hardware to exceed to be $1,000. He made that statement a few times now that he doesn't want to see hardware reaching $1,000. So let's see if that is going to be true. I reckon the next Xbox is going to be, if they have a 2-tier system, somewhere between 600 and 800. If they have a single tier system, then it's probably going to be about 800.
I also said that I think that the reason for the price hikes instead of the price drops this gen is because they're setting up for how much they're going to start the base price at the next console's launch. So that they try to not sell it at a loss from the get-go.
I'm curious. Bags, what did Phil Spencer say that you find is untruthful? Where the business plan hasn't changed? I'm curious. Let me know.
It's because,
Yeah, the HoloLens was supposed to be the new thing for Xbox, but they decided against it. I mean, business is fluid. Things will change as they demand it. Clearly, the Xbox One situation was really bad. So what did you want them to do? Go out of business? I said he's a wordsmith and he manipulates stuff. I mean, anything could change. So wait, hold on, Bags. So are you saying that Sony are liars? I just want to see if this is just one-sided. So you're openly saying that Herman Holst is a liar, Jim Ryan is a liar. Basically, anyone that works in Sony are liars. What did Sony lie about? I'm not saying that I believe what the corpos are saying. I'm just saying he said he doesn't want to see consoles at $1,000. And if he doesn't want to see that, I'm hoping he'll actually try and keep it below that. And $800 seems to be the medium. After all, the PS5 Pro sold for $800 and people bought it. I mean, anything could happen, right? I mean, technically, no consoles could exist in a few months if World War III breaks out. It's possible, right? I mean, if you're looking at what's possible, anything is possible. Except for me flying. That's just not going to happen unless I'm on a plane. But, just saying, man.
When you buy a game on Steam, but you buy it on your Windows PC, Windows doesn't get a cut. Steam gets a cut. They get a 30% cut of every game, every microtransaction, everything you buy on the Steam storefront. That goes to Steam. It doesn't go to Windows. So there is talks that essentially this next Microsoft console is going to be a lot more expensive because it's not going to be subsidized. Typically, you sell stuff slightly cheaper because you're making a cut of the sales. But if you're not getting a cut of the sales, then you got to price it up. You got to say, okay, if I'm not going to be making any money off any of these Steam games, and let's face it, people aren't going to be buying many Xbox games because it doesn't seem like there's going to be many of them, you're going to price.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that caught me for a loop too,
Wait,
because how many
There's
games
not going to
are
be many Xbox games.
Even Paris said earlier that they have what, one game at least a month from now until the end of the year, easy. And we already know that there's at least 2 to 3 games next year for Xbox already. Fable, because it was delayed. Perfect Dark is probably going to be next year. We still haven't seen anything about Contraband.
Hey, Xbox has so many games.
Not to mention they have their entire back catalog they can work on while new games are still being made.
So basically, what he's saying is, if Xbox has no games, what is PlayStation doing? Dying on Ozempic? Like what? But seriously, if Xbox has no games, I'm guessing the PlayStation at this point is dying on Ozempic, right?
Question: have we gotten a date for Lost Soul Aside's release yet?
It's October or November, I think, right? I was joking about saying that I'm gonna play it on my Xbox handheld.
Yeah, I know. I heard that. I was just wondering because from their last big release, which was Astrobot, that's going to be 2 years in between games.
I think Yote will come out before that.
Yote is also the end of this year, assuming it doesn't get delayed.
And
Because
you've got Death
Marathon already
Stranding.
got delayed.
Death Stranding 2, is it out already? Or is it coming very soon?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So they've got Death Stranding 2 tomorrow. I think in a few months they've got Yote.
But that's not theirs.
I mean, it's still exclusive to their platform, right? I know it's not theirs, but they still paid for exclusivity and they're keeping it off other platforms for the time being. But in terms of first party, if that's what you're going to just only go on, then it'll probably be September, October when they get Ghost of Yote.
Yeah.
October 2nd for Ghost of Yote. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it might not be theirs, but they still pay to. And I think the Decima engine is partly theirs, isn't it? Or
No, that's all Kojima's.
That's all Kojima's. Right.
And now he bought.
I thought Sony had some investment in Decima engine.
I don't think so, because he bought Kojima Productions back from Sony, so he owns it solely now. And if that was the case, then why is the first Death Stranding on Xbox, and not only on Xbox, but in Game Pass as well?
Well, I mean, even if it's Sony's engine, at the end of the day, the IP belongs to Thing, right? No. But that's interesting.
Rent is almost due. Prepare for Xbox Dead
Don't
video
worry,
soon.
Dayreezy. He announces that at the end of this video.
Guerrilla Games own Decima engine? Right. That's what I thought. I thought it was a Sony-owned engine.
Or, my bad, yeah.
Hey, Reezy, rent is almost due. Prepare. Almost dead. Oh, thank you. Sorry, 1 second, chat.
That's Decimal, Susano. And I agree, Chris. I do think the lower one, I think, was announced at $500, and the new Ally X is going to be $800, $300 more.
Right. We're like halfway through this, and my man's full of cap. He is so. The thing is, this is the thing I don't get, and me and Paris were talking about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it bother these guys so much that Xbox is doing this? I mean, I don't get it. Like, why does it bother them?
Because they think it fits their narrative that Xbox is going "quote unquote" full third party.
Again, why does it bother them? That's good for them, right? So why does it
be
bother
good for them? Because it means that more people get to play the games.
But why does it bother them?
Because they think Xbox games are "quote unquote" slop.
I get like a segment of the Xbox community getting upset because they want Microsoft to compete and keep exclusives, and you know, they've got that mindset, and that's fine. I respect that. But the Xbox, PlayStation fans are complaining more about this change than Xbox fans are. I don't get it. I think I actually have partially a reason why they're doing it. All their podcasts will have nothing to talk about anymore. Because all they talk about is Xbox and Game Pass.
And what they're doing.
I mean, that thread that I made riled up a lot of people on X. But it was true. I found a few that were actually pretty decent that actually do talk about PlayStation. Really cool stuff. But the majority, like, they're all just slagging Xbox, and once that goes away, I guess they're gonna have no channel. I guess they're gonna have to go out and get a job.
Price that system up. But
They can't even read.
the other part of this that I saw some people kind of pointing out, where was this? Oh God, a lot of words to say nothing. A lot of people making fun of it. Bro, just let it go. It's over. I saw a lot of replies of people pointing out the fact that, where was it? I saw this great one. Look at that. First party devices. This to me very much signals that the next Xbox is not just going to be Xbox. It's not just going to be Microsoft making standard stuff. I truly believe that the catastrophic failure of the Xbox Series consoles has frightened them. I think it scared them in a way that they didn't really foresee, because
Not really, no, I disagree with that. The reality is, ABK is what crippled Xbox Series consoles selling. I mean, people may want to sugarcoat that, but the reality is, the Activision Blizzard merger is what really, really, really hurt Xbox this generation. I mean, that's just open to everyone. During the whole process, they tried to show themselves as weak as possible. No real first-party games were coming out, so that could support their narrative. They then pivoted to push games onto other platforms, to Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, to show that they're playing ball and they're not gonna hold games back. I think we would see a very, very, very different Xbox right now if the ABK merger never happened. But during that 3-year trial, they continuously showed themselves as weak, third party, unable to compete. And there was only so much damage you could do before you can rebound. And in the end, they decided, now that we've spent the 79 billion, we've got to recoup some of that money through Microsoft Gaming. And
You remember that chart that was being passed around that said PlayStation earned 31 billion in revenue?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how Microsoft Xbox was next to it and it said like 21 billion in revenue?
I think so, yeah.
Do you want to know how much they actually made in profit?
I mean, according to, well, Sony didn't actually announce their main profit. They called it net operating net, which
Operating
is
income.
Operating income, yeah. So it's not exactly profit, but it's just based on how much
they made.
Revenue.
768,000 roughly.
That's not a lot. But
No,
they made
it's not.
13 billion operating.
But for the same profit that they made in that quarter, Xbox, while they don't release the numbers, made somewhere between 5 and 800,000 just the same, for 10 billion less in revenue.
Interesting times, man. This is why Sony are pushing to PC. And you'll be seeing much more, they're finding it more and more difficult now to stop third-party manufacturers not releasing day and date to PC. And this works in Microsoft's favor,
half
right?
the consoles too.
This works in Microsoft's favor, right? Because Sony can money hat all they want. I mean, is there even any point now if the games were released day one on PC as well? What's going to be the point of money hatting? Oh, it's not going to be on the Xbox, but it's going to be on PC, and But if the Xbox is playing PC, and this is Microsoft's whole point, right? Why should we pay for third-party games for exclusivity or anything when they're going PC anyway? We'll just take them from PC. If people want to buy our games from us, happy days. If they want to buy it from our store, happy days. If they don't want to buy it from our store, we'll still take the 70% and be happy. That's it. Hey, good night, Chris.
I also don't think that they realize that if Sony even tries to do anything to block the games, there's
They
one slim chance that they can do it.
How?
Valve
wouldn't allow it, but how would they do it?
They can do one of two ways,
Mm-hmm.
both of which are very, very precarious. The first is that they can institute an update that they push for their game in a new patch for the games, saying, oh, this is to ensure this, that, and the other. And they slip in a DRM check that singles out the Xbox hardware.
But it's still running Valve's Steam. And if it's running on Steam, Steam pays a
Right,
license.
it's against Steam's TOS.
Steam would sue them.
Anything that is a compatible
Steam would sue them outright. And
Yes.
they would be... And they would lose...
Well, no, because it would still run on Steam. It just wouldn't run
They
on the
can't
device.
block it. They can't block it anywhere that Steam is running. Unless there are legal reasons for it. Like, for example, countries that didn't have PSN. That is a legal reason. Right?
Yes.
That's not going to be the case here. Because...
The only other thing that they could do, which would be even stupider, but they could legally do it, is delist all their games from Steam and Epic.
Yeah, they're not going to do that because they like money. They
and
don't
make
care
their
about
own
people's
launcher.
feelings.
And make their own launcher.
Fine. I'll just install their launcher on my Xbox then. It's going to run. It's going to have a full fat Windows on there if you want to access it, just like a Steam Deck does. It's going to boot into the game mode.
But see, then they wouldn't be subject to Steam's TOS. They can absolutely 100% block it from their own.
I will just install the launcher. There will it's going to be a cat and dog game for them. There will always be a way to play it.
Like I said, they'd have to do it very precarious because if they do either of those two scenarios, if they do either of those two scenarios, then they're going to be facing a multi-billion-dollar.
But why would they do that?
Lawsuit. No, this is just the fanboy narrative. What they're trying to say.
I know, but there is no reason for them to do that. Unlike many fanboys believe, businesses like to make money. I know this is a concept that many fanboys don't like to hear.
Oh, absolutely.
But businesses are in the business to make money and make profit. And if Sony doesn't have to do any work to make extra money, because they're not going to make any additional effort to make sure it works. It's just going to release on PC. And if the people that are buying an Xbox that runs Windows want to play it, then they're just going to play it. And it's more money. It will cost Sony more money to do that. And if anyone thinks their shareholders are going to say, yeah, we really hate money, so we're going to want to invest in ways to stop us from making money.
Right.
If anyone finds anything logical about that statement, I don't know. I don't know. It's it doesn't make any sense to me.
James posted it in the chat. Per Grok, Sony as a publisher can impose technical restrictions on its games, such as requiring a PSN account or implementing DRM.
Yeah, PSN account. I've got a PSN account. I can just log into my PSN account. It's just
the DRM is what would restrict the device. But if they don't do it in the right way and they block more than they're supposed to, they target the Xbox Ally, for instance, but it winds up blocking more than just the Xbox Ally.
Dude.
Then it's a multi-billion
forget
loss.
about that. Forget about all of that. And no offense to anyone in chat right now, right? I'm going to say something. Don't be offended by it. You think Nintendo fans are weird, right? They are delusional in the most purest sense. And they are crazy in the wildest sense.
I mean, just look at Harmon.
But they do not hold a candle to Steam fans. right? They don't hold
absolutely.
a candle. Steam users, they're a different breed. I thought Nintendo was bad, but Steam users, they are a different breed. You don't fuck with them. If Sony removes their games off Steam, no one's buying it. And they will continue to not buy it until it gets put back. We've seen this with Ubisoft. We've seen this with everyone. Eventually, everyone goes to Steam. Why? Because they want to make sales. Sony will not be dumb. What Sony will potentially do is actually have their own launcher where their fanboys will go and buy their games on their launcher. The rest of the world will go and buy it on Steam. And because it's on Steam, it will be on Xbox. It's really that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. The
So
only
that's-
other thing that they said about that I found out about them doing their own launcher is they said while they would not have to abide by Steam's TOS anymore, they can stop pushing updates for all games launched on Steam and only push it to their own app, which they could do and would be an incentive for them to switch from Steam to their app if you so wanted to keep the game updated.
So wait, you're saying that if I have it on Steam, I can't get my game updated? Then they'd have to issue me a refund because my game is now broken. Good luck with
No,
that.
it would still work. It just
No,
wouldn't get the
if you're
latest
not giving me
updates.
updates that I'm entitled to, which I am because I purchased it, it's part of my licensing rights, and you are now changing that licensing right, without any compensation.
Unless it's in the EULA
you're
somewhere.
getting sued. They would have to remove it from sale entirely for that to happen, and they're not going
Like
to
I
do
said,
that. Do you know why?
delisting the games.
Yeah, do you know why they're not going to delist their games?
Because then it means no more new users, and they like money.
The
Way too
first part
much.
doesn't matter. It's the second part. They like money. Everyone is
Absolutely.
Mr. Krabs. All these
Absolutely.
companies are Mr. Krabs. My money.
Let's face it, the Xbox console has good graphics, it's got a lot of power, but the Series S has really held it back. A lot of developers have talked about the fact that if you're putting out a game, if you put it on PlayStation, you just put it on PlayStation. If you put it on the Nintendo Switch 2, you just put it on the Nintendo Switch 2. Whereas if you make it for the Xbox consoles, it's going to sell a hell of a lot worse, but also you have to make it optimized for two very different consoles, the Series S and the Series X. In a lot of ways that it's frightened them. I think the next Xbox is going to be a powerhouse. That's why she specifically talked about cutting edge graphics and breakthrough gameplay. But more than that, I do think this unmatched compatibility is a sign that they want to start to try to make the Xbox consoles more like a Windows PC. Something where you can.
That's literally what she said.
Yep.
Not like a PC. Pretty much a PC, but in console form. That is
The
literally what
only
she said.
question is going to be an open platform or a closed ecosystem still?
And Edward said something over here. I disagree. Sony has made several dumb decisions that cost them money and done so purely out of pride and hubris. 100%. And that is why they did not cave in to all those people that were moaning about Helldivers at the time, waited a few months to make it look like they made that decision when all the time their shareholders were berating them non-stop. Open it up. We want money. But Sony didn't want to look weak by, bending the knee, as it were, to Steam. And I think that was
anyway.
I think at the time that was a right move, because if you get bullied into something, everyone will bully you constantly into doing it and expect it. So in the end, it was always going to come off, but it came off on their terms. But the reality is they lost a lot of money in that process by trying to, as you say, show pride and hubris, but their shareholders couldn't have been happy.
Woodpit, the whole marathon thing that they were hyping up in the investors call, you got to remember that the data that they were using was recorded and taken as of March 31st. And it wasn't until late May when they recorded it. So they didn't change all their slides and everything because it would have taken too much time. They wouldn't have been able to do the investors call in time. So they left it in. And this was before all the art theft stuff came out.
Yeah. But Marathon was is delayed. It's not indefinite delay, but there's no release date. They're basically going back to the drawing board. But if you,
Yeah.
I made a video on this already talking about it. Feel free to go watch it. But a lot of what they're saying there is basically in TLDR, and I go in more depth in the video. But TLDR, we're listening to what you're saying. We can't give you what you're saying. We can't change what the game is now. So we're gonna do adjustments where we can to try and appease you. But what you've seen with Marathon is what you're going to get with,
Slight
some
alterations.
changes. Yes, that's basically it. But I went through it in a lot more detail in that video, so feel free to go check that out.
Oh, I said
And
it was good.
you'll see exactly what I mean, because I break that whole thing down quite. Because they repeatedly say that they're listening and they're gonna go and act on it, and then they pretty much tell you that they're not gonna act on it. They'll only act on the stuff that actually, from the ones that actually liked it,
Right.
which is very, very minority. But yeah, check out the video and you'll see what I mean.
It's also very skewed.
It is, yeah.
But it is just powerful on its own. No more of this stagger tier, more of this weird stuff. I think it is going to be a singular device with really good specs that can play anything possible, which I have to admit will be very interesting to see. There's already talks, obviously, about the Xbox handheld that's coming out later in the year by Asus. When that comes out, there is talks already, and I made a video about this on Sunday, but there is talks that because that plays Steam games, PlayStation games on Steam play on it. You can play Spider-Man, you can play God of War, you can play all sorts of stuff, right? It is going to be wild if they put Steam on this next Xbox. If it runs great, like if it actually has extremely good performance, it would be weird to play like PlayStation 5 games that have been ported to Steam, put on this new Xbox. It'd be weird if we start next gen playing PlayStation 5 games that look better than PlayStation 5, right? I guess we'll find out.
Why is that weird when that's happening now with, like, in some games with Xbox going to PlayStation 5 Pro? Why isn't that weird?
Fanboy's worst nightmare.
No, but it's not weird vice versa, but going against them is now weird. That makes it... It's such a fanboy.
This current tense, I still feel like the Xbox brand is so dead. I mean, you can call me a hater all you want. I just feel like Xbox as a brand has lost any sort of relevance. So
And there it is.
the next Xbox needs more than just
Exactly,
good
Bags.
marketing. It needs more than just flashy commercials. It needs a hell of a lot of luck for the...
Mate, that lineup, if it comes out with that lineup next year, it's going to sell buckets.
anything else. But these have just been my thoughts. How do you feel about the next Xbox? And does this feel like a big deal to you, or is this just a soft queef in the wind? Tell me your thoughts in the comments.
It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. Apparently, some of the fanboys' logic is the Xbox brand is willingly giving up all of their exclusives
I mean, the brand is taking a hit.
From
There's
the
no denying that.
from the console to the PlayStation, whereas the PlayStation is refusing to give up exclusives, and because they're not day and date yet, that PlayStation will still have their exclusives, and they don't have to beg for anything, and they don't have to worry, because by the time Xbox and PC does get them, they've already played them and moved on. That's their logic.
Good luck with it.
And I already see that day and date is getting closer and closer, and starting with Lost Soul aside, and I fully expect that Death Stranding 2 tomorrow, Ghost of Yote and Wolverine, or maybe not even Wolverine, which are the only games left that PlayStation has announced in the pipeline. Oh, and Intergalactic 2. That those are the last games that are going to launch console exclusive. And Lost Soul aside, all the rest of the China Hero project that PlayStation has going on, and starting the next announced games like Saros, are going to start being PC day and date. And that's going to be the fanboy's biggest nightmare.
Of course it is. And let it be.
No, baby steps is day and date on PC, Dags.
Right. Don't know if this is going to work.
Yes, Banisher, it is just a prediction.
Alright.
But like Chaos says, they want and like money. If it will make them more money, putting these China Hero projects on PC day and date, and they've already stated that they're not planning on blocking anything from Steam to play on these new Xbox handheld and consoles as they come out, then every game is going to be everywhere, and they have to do less coding to change the ports for an Xbox specific device because it's all going to be PC versions. I
Pretty
did see his
much.
Spider-Man take. I saw his Lost Soul Aside take.
Who's?
J-Tech.
Yeah, he lost that on that one.
He more than lost it.
You failed the test. Oh, what a special one. All right, let's do these last two giveaways that I said that I would do for members that are
Go for it.
that have supported me all this time. So let's get this done as well. Let's wait. It's not done yet. Steve, you're not gonna play the game. Don't enter. You're just gonna throw the code away. He is, if he wins, he's gonna throw the code away.
Oh, after his little interaction with me on Twitter, absolutely, I know that's what he would do. Did you see what he responded to me?
I did.
Blasphemy.
All right, enter away FF16.
And I don't even like Remake, Rebirth, and 16 because I think they're horrible, horrible games made for a multitude of reasons.
This is for Final Fantasy 16. We've given 3 copies of Final Fantasy 16 to everyone. We've given 3 copies of Dragon Quest away to everyone. So the last copies of each are for members.
I was trying to ask you, was the FF16 code for the complete edition of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Devin, you already have it.
It was actually kind of cool because during the event, when Alex was doing the watch part, or not the watch party, but the covering the Xbox event, his Square Enix rep contacted him and gave him 5 codes for the complete edition for Xbox during his live stream. Quit lying, Steve.
All right, give it another 10 seconds. It's been interesting, to say the least.
Maybe I should enter just that it's another person that Steve has to fight against.
All right, there we go.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, everybody. Who do you think won?
Let's see. How many people entered? I'm gonna say either Bullets or Susano.
Bullets won.
Hey, I guessed it right.
Bullets, let me know in contact me. I'm setting up the other one now.
Congrats, Bullets.
I'm setting up the Dragon Quest one up now because I'm a little tired. So get in touch with me when you can. Exclamation. Oh, wait. I fucked that one up. Let me do that again. Again. All right. Exclamation DQ.
See, that's the thing, Chris. They're already seeing the results of day and date on PC with the China Hero project, because that's not the first game. Because remember, some of the remakes and remasters are day one on PC. Until Dawn, Days Gone, both of those remasters were PC day one. Now, those didn't sell too well. So now they're going to experiment, seeing the numbers from the China Hero projects. And the first single player game that they're going to do it with, I'm thinking, is probably going to either be Wolverine because of all the Insomniac leaks, or they're going to do it with Saros.
All right, give it another 30 seconds. Bullets, do send me a message. I think you just did. Yeah.
I'm going to guess in the dark and say
Are you
Gorsty's
serious,
in this one.
Bullets? Do you want to do that? Or do you want me to? Do you want it, or do you want me to re-roll it? Dude's
This
just
one's
gonna
for
get rid of it.
Dragon Quest 2D HD or 2.5 HD.
Yeah.
For this one, Devin.
All right, rolling. Devin, this is for Dragon Quest Part 3, HD 2D.
Type exclamation point DQ in the chat to enter.
Ghosty has won. Ghosty has won the Dragon Quest.
Call me a freaking magician. I guessed it twice in a row.
And just in case people don't believe me, there you go, Ghosty.
If you have an issue where it doesn't, what you could do is just go to like
all right, here we go.
Congrats, Gorsty. And congrats, Bullets.
Well, Bullets wants me to give it to Steve.
Nah, I don't gamble wood pit. I just am very good at inferring information.
Well, that's it for today's show. It's been a good one. I know I've been away for most of this week. Work has been really, really like crazy. But we will be back normal streaming from next week because Ralph are gonna deliver that project. I'm not this week. So if I'm not busy this weekend, if I'm not working overtime this weekend for this project, I'm probably gonna do a stream on Saturday over at Twitch. So feel free to stop by if you have any time. But otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out, man. I've had a pretty bad day today, and you guys have all made it really, really fun and enjoyable. I've had a great time. Thank you to Power and Paris for jumping on, and thank you to all of you for making this stream awesome. I've really had a lot of fun. Thank you for the super chats and the memberships. It really means a lot for the support, and hopefully we can have more giveaways down the road. All right, folks, that is going to be it for tonight. I appreciate you all, and
my pleasure.
That's it. I'm out. Remain legend, folks. Peace.